There we go. Can you hear me now? I want to fix this. While we're here, I'm going to fix this chat thing because it should be getting. There we go. So you guys can hear me now? Chat box. How do I get. Let's see. How do I get the chat? Let me see. Pop out chat. Let's see if this will work. Let's see if I can unlock this. Does that work? Okay, it throws it in here. Loud and clear, baby. Let's go. All right. So do you guys know how I can get this chat on the right here? How I can get that loaded in here without seeing the border? Isn't there a way to do that? Because I have the link in there from the pop out, but what I want is, let's see if I can do it this way. No, still the same thing. It's going to take a minute for us to get started, so just hang in there. And people are going to come through, so we'll give it a minute for people to come on in. Let me see if I can find it, because unless you guys know how to do it, let's see how to add YouTube. There we go. How to add YouTube chat. Yeah, this is what I think I just did, but I want. You have no clue. Well, we're probably not going to use it much, but you know, I love messing around here as usual. So how you guys doing this Friday? Let me know in the comments how everybody's doing. And yeah, we'll get to it in a second. Yeah, I have no clue. We might just run with what we have. We got 5 people in here right now. Let's see if we can get some more in here. Oh, we got 10 actually. It says 10, so I don't know. Sean's here. All right. So this is going to be a little bit about him. What I might do is, let me see, chat. Yeah, that's good. That's the chat. Whatever. There's the chat. I don't know what else to do there. That's the best I can get. Unless yeah, I don't know. Top chat, live chat. I want live chat. All right, so welcome. If you guys are watching this live, welcome. If you're watching it afterward, then this is where it's going to start. So it's Friday, like I said. The weekend's almost here. We've been quite busy this week working on franchise mode. I'll give you guys a quick update on that because I want I want to share that with you guys so you guys know I haven't really been too much, too involved in the Discord for Legend Bowl, but I'm working on the franchise mode, and I've gotten through all of the off-season modes pretty much. I'm polishing up things, fixing some light little bugs here and there. I just ran into an issue where, like, these are the things that you guys may or may not know about. I'm a little rough, obviously. I didn't get ready for this stream. Didn't look all pretty, but I'm just, I don't care. I'm tired. And so I apologize if you don't like the way I look. Anyways, so like the one thing that I'm working on that I just figured out right now was that when I create a brand new rookie, they're only gonna get like they get created with one like the current year's worth of stats. But the problem is that the game like whenever I like go from year to year, I create a brand new row of stats. So picture your stats as like a list of stats. Like the first row in the list is like year one, then year two. But when you come in and you create a rookie, you don't have 2 years worth anymore. Cause like, when you go to the end of the season and you basically create like you finish the season, I say, okay, here's your like your stats for this season. Let's create a brand new row of stats for the new season. So now you have 2 rows basically, or 2 items in a list. Okay. And when you create a rookie, you're only going to have 1 item in the list. So when I go to like year 2 and I play a game or sim a game, it's looking for basically the item list number 2, but it doesn't have one. So I have to figure out like, do I create a blank item for the rookies for the first list, like for the year they didn't play? Or it could be year 5 and you could be a rookie. So you're going to have 4 years of blank charts. And then do I hide those? Like when you look at the player card or look at the career stats? Or do I make the career stats and everything else in the game find, find your, find your year, find your stats based on the year column in each item. So anyways, I know it's kind of like, it's probably boring stuff, but that's what dev is. And that's why dev sucks. Dev sucks, man. And there's going to be profanity. So fuck. Yeah. Fuck. We're going to say fuck. And so I apologize. Yeah. So I don't know how it's going to work, because if you have a year 5 rookie, like it's year 5 and you become a rookie. Well, if I go into your stats, I don't want to see blank rows of previous years, right? I want to see your first year be like the first column, the first row. So anyways, I got to figure that out, but it's not a big deal. It's just one of the things that you run into. And so I'm working through that. I'm also thinking about, I want to do the trophy room because I want that to be part of the franchise. The problem with the franchise mode though is that it can get very like it can just go on forever, which is why I never wanted to do it. I wanted it to be a Legend Bowl 2 thing, because Legend Bowl 2 was, I knew once I started to do franchise mode that I wouldn't know where to stop. And then also, like, which is part of this video, people are going to complain. Like they always complain. Feedback. Feedback is the worst depending on how you're getting it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are in my community, and you guys, I ask for feedback all the time. I ask you guys for little things like, does this color look good, right? Like yesterday, I asked you if that one color looked good, right? And you're like, it's just a color, move on, who cares, right? Or sometimes you're like, you guys get all into it, and it's a good and bad thing, because giving you guys the option to tell me how you feel about stuff sometimes just becomes more than it should be. And I'm gonna try to keep up with these comments here. I know I'm pretty bad at that typically, so I'll try to do a better job with that. And let me see the best way to do this. So let's just keep it like this. It's fine. Let me do a couple quick things, and then let me go over here. All right, so yeah, Sean, don't worry about that if you're in and out. This is going to be a lot of this is going to be about Sean, to be honest. Yeah, I got to figure that out, Klep. There are a couple things that I'm going to want to share with you guys. And yeah, there's some cool. I'm going to be going through a couple of videos that let me see if I can find it here. Um I want to talk about a few things today. So basically, franchise is going to keep going. I mean, I want to do trophies. I want to do, um, I want to do other things that I want to do other things that are, it's just going to take a while. It's just going to take a while. Let's just put it that way because it's one of those things where you like, I don't know. I mean, when I say it's going to take a while, I'm not saying like months and months and months, but we're trying to get the game working on the Switch, and there's definitely some struggles with the Switch. The Switch is limited with the hardware. My publisher said they've never seen a game like mine with so many sprites. And I know that people in the Discord, I know like Fred is doing sprites, new hairstyles, which you guys got to understand that the hairstyles that he's doing, they're cool, but to add those to every single animation times every single direction, right? So like if you have a dive animation, might be like 6 frames. Well, that hair animation needs to be added for every single hairstyle that you add times every frame. So if you have 6 frames, that's 6 times every direction, right? So that's 18 frames, and you have to put them in the right spot, right? So like if they're diving and they're falling down, then you got to put the hair like down. You got to put it in the right spot, the right coordinates. It's like that's the way that it goes. So yeah, scope creep. Yeah, scope creep is a problem. Um, yeah, I'm not being hard on myself, to be honest with you. I'm actually fine. It's just more like this is just the reality of what we're doing, right? We're working on games, and games are really hard to work on, and adding a brand new no dives. Why don't we want to have dives? Yeah, I know you guys have issues with the dives on blown plays. I know. And that's the thing that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about football games and the title here, right? Do football fans want something different? Do you guys want something that's different? I don't know. I think I think that people it just depends. Like football fans are so hard to understand, and we're going to get into a lot of it. And I want to show you guys some video clips. I don't know how this is going to work. We may watch it together and I may stop it as we go, but these are some long videos. But this guy, let's talk about this guy. I'm gonna start with this dude here because this is a great video, and you guys may or may not have seen this. See the part about I appreciate it, Bryce. The part about rushing is it's so hard because I want to do so much. I'm only one person. You can easily get burnt out. I'm not a good boss to myself. I don't I put too many hours in. I feel like things take for like yesterday. The thing that I added yesterday, and I'm going to pull it up so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about here. The thing that I added yesterday, right? So let's see. Okay, here it is. Let me just save it so I can show you. All right. So the thing that I added yesterday was this right here, right? This week 7 versus Miami, this little thing that sounds like nothing, it took a while to do. Why did it take so long to do? Well, a couple things. Number one, I figured out that this week 7, like pulling the week, like when you go to the load screen and you look at the coach and you see like your week, when you go to your list of saves for your season and you look at like the week on the side, it's always a week behind. Like if you finish the first week and all the games are done, it should say week 2, but it says week 1 because you have to start at least one game in the next week for it to work. So the reason why, I did that because simming, the way I did like the calendar, the schedule where you sim games, it's it needs to like see the next game for it to. It's just the way it was built. Basically, like it sims to like the final game of the week, and then it'll like do the weekly wrap up, and then it'll stop. But you're still in week 1, and you're not in week 2 until the next week starts. So like I had to like go through the entire like schedule code yesterday and the simming and debug it, and it wasn't working right. And then I had to like sim I had already put code in to sim the playoffs, so now you can sim the playoffs too. You can sim the regular season, and you can sim the entire playoffs, which you couldn't do that in the version you guys have now. But me adding this this thing right here caused me to make sure that the week was right. Because if week 6 was done and every game was done, you would expect to see week 7 and your next game, right? And what I was seeing was, let me see if I can move some of this stuff over. Hold on. Oh, there we go. That's better. That's much better. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my, there we go. There we go. Much cleaner. Yeah, I don't need to see the preview. So I want to keep up with these chats here. Yeah. 80 hours a week. Yeah, I know, right? Um Yeah, I got a buddy. I got a buddy that I'm buying some Neo Geo stuff from. Anyways, um, so so this thing right here, this stupid thing right here, caused me to have to do my entire code logic for like the schedule and how it works, because I basically found out that, and it's not a bad thing. Like I really had an issue with the week, not showing the right week, and then I also like to grab the record. I don't have an easy way to grab the record. And then I'm also dealing with like your coach, like right now, I don't know what to do. Like there's like little decisions that you have to make. You have to constantly make these decisions. You're like, what should I do? Should I not do? What should I do? Yeah, I don't know. And that's why I ask you guys questions. And that's why we talk about feedback. Okay. Now, this record thing, like the coach right now, there's a wins and a loss, like set of fields, right? And the wins are just right now they're accumulating across every year, right? So like you can see like your total wins. But I don't have a way that I'm saving like just the wins for that year. So I have to go through the entire schedule and calculate what you've won and what you've lost. So I created a method that'll do that for me on the fly, because I don't know if I should save that or not. I don't really want to deal with saving that, because that's another thing. Now that the game's out, whenever I add new columns, it's so much more work, because now I have to make sure that I'm handling when you don't have, like I want to handle like previous season files, I want them to still work. So there's just a whole number of crap you got to deal with, you know. Um, you can't just iterate it by one, because when you start faking it like that, everything else starts to break. Trust me. I was thinking about that, and then I ran into some issues where I couldn't do it. And then like when you get into the play, things just get shitty when you do that. You don't want to do that. That starts to add like bugs and issues. So believe me, it wasn't that simple. And that's what a lot of this stuff isn't. It's not simple. This shit's hard. Like everything is hard. Something as simple as this opens up so many like questions, and like not all the time, but sometimes, it can happen where you have all this crap you got to deal with. So, when people give feedback, it's very obvious. Like what you just did right there, View. You said, why don't you just add by one, right? Like, but you have to understand, and that's something I think about. And so I've thought about probably everything that people have thought about. Mostly everything that people have already told me I already know. I asked you guys really for two reasons. One is to kind of help me think faster maybe, or make me recall what I've already thought of, or push me to do something I really don't want to do. But 99% of the time, I've already thought of it. And it's not nothing to do with you guys. I'm not like bashing you guys. I'm just telling you that you have to understand that coding is so hard that you have to think about everything. And you're thinking about more than what you guys know, right? Oh, just add the record on there. No big deal. This shit takes time. It's ridiculously hard. Japan, hey man, what's up, bro? Neo Geo. That's what I got behind me. So that's just an example of the crap that you got to deal with. Right now we got 24 people in here. Everybody hit that like button. Like they always say, hit the like button. The stream's going to go on for a while, so hang tight. We got a lot to go through. A lot. So thank you all for being here. And that's cool to have somebody from Japan in here. I don't know if you're like natively like from Japan, or you just, you're a guy from the US or the States or something, and you were over there. I don't know. But let us know what you want to see in a football game. If you're not from the States, let us know for sure. All right, so let's do a couple things. Let's get back to chat. If I can remember how to use this thing. Okay, chat. Boom. Back to me. And what I want to do is, let's see something. I want to do, can I put this on? Okay, cool. Let's do that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you guys, let's close this out. I want to show you guys a couple videos. So we're going to do like a little bit of like watching videos and kind of like, this shit's so good. So this is about feedback. And you guys have to understand that as a developer, like I just went through, we know so much about our game, more than you guys could ever imagine. You guys are helping us with, like, you guys help me a lot with testing the game. So we have two things we're going to go through here. I know this is about, football games and everything, but we have a lot to go through, and I just want to blow off some time and steam. And am I a game developer? Yeah, I'm a game developer. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe you don't follow me. Yeah, of course. I'm making a football game. What's up, Extremes Dunks? All right, so let's watch this. Whoops. Hold on a second. I'm doing like too many things here. You guys probably can't hear it because it's not on. So let's hear this dude.
You know what? Let's take a moment to set our targets on that obnoxious feedback-giving monster Day 9 check source. You know what? I don't think devs talk about this enough, because if they did, they would get fucking blistered on Twitter. But
this is so good.
Isn't feedback from players the fucking worst, developers? Isn't sometimes the last thing in the universe you want the opinion of someone that's fucking playing your game? Oh my god. There were issues with pathfinding.
This guy's the best. What?
If you were working
Day 9 TV
and said, "Hey, there's huge issues with pathfinding."
This guy streams. I'm gonna try to put his volume a little higher because he seems like it's a little low. But this guy streams daily on Twitch. He's like a He's in like LA or somewhere around there, and I think he used to want to be an actor, but he's a smart dude. He's like smart. He's like witty and funny. Um, let's get this audio up here.
Finding QA, thanks so much for pointing that out. Bug team would go, on it, thanks so much, and everyone would shut the fuck up. But if you're on the internet, people are, oh, I can't believe that they would. The pathfinding is a slap in the face. The number of things people have described as slaps in the face, every single time I see someone say it's a slap in the face, every single time I'm like, if only that person duct taped their mouth shut, duct taped their fingers into little penguin flippers, and then duct taped those together, and then sunk to the bottom of the ocean, the world would have been better off. There's no such thing as a slap in the face just because you don't like a thing. You didn't like it. That's what happened. It's not that someone caused you to not like it at you. Anyways, feedback sucks, man. When players sit down to give feedback, let's talk about some of the things that sucks about player feedback. First of all, did you know that most of the time people can only work on stuff one at a time? Did you know this? Because feedback givers don't. No feedback giver has ever wrapped their head around the concept that maybe the developers know that it's a fucking problem, but they can't do it because they have to do one thing at a time. That's the worst. Second of all, here's a different kind of feedback that we hate, which is, hey, I just sat down to play Dwarfheim, and my feedback is, literally make this different game that's in my mind, right? Like, what if, now hear me out here, what if Dwarfheim was actually a 100 team kind of battle royale RTS? I mean, I really think that you can take your ideas and extend them to 100 players. I mean, sky's the limit, right? Fuck these players, man. It is the worst. God, I can't stand it.
Yeah, I love watching
Do I do this sometimes? Totally. And it's horrible, and I hate myself. I absolutely self-flog after giving feedback every time because I'm an adult. Oh god, what else is the worst about player feedback? Oh, you know, the never saying.
This is the best.
Oh man, game dev sounds so crazy. Yeah,
this is the best part.
I actually think that there is, for some reason, I don't know how this happened, but the idea of feedback somehow got glorified. Like somehow just like. Careful, everyone. You know, like if someone wrote down feedback, you'd be moving like the Ark of the fucking Covenant. Or, oh, careful. Don't let the feedback fall, lest it step into a puddle and become wet, and we lose the value of the feedback. Right? I don't know how this happened. Where it's just, excuse me. I was wondering if you'd be willing to sit with me for a moment. I have feedback. How often should a dev go, no? I think almost always, right? Almost always. And yet somehow it's this just like, well, no, you should listen to my feedback because look, it's my feedback. It's important. You don't have to use it. You don't have to use it at all, but you should listen. No. Let's take a moment. Let's consider the following situation. Imagine we are done with the first quarter of the Super Bowl. Imagine if the coach went up to the quarterback, who'd been having a rough first quarter, and said, hey, look, before we send you back out on this field, we've gotten a whole bunch of feedback from dads at sports bars that are drunk, coaches of high school football teams, players who you beat in the semifinals leading into the Super Bowl, people who are only watching football for the first time with their friends on a Saturday, Sunday, whatever the day is. And also, I have my feedback I'd like to give you. You know, like, the quarterback would probably be like, okay, coach, let's just only hear what you have to say. No, don't. No. You should listen to those drunken dads in that sports bar because they have feedback, and it's up to the quarterback to sift through what's valuable or not. No.
This is good right here.
I think it should be done in very focused, clear, concise, controlled environments. I like the idea of you get 95% of the way there with a particular idea. Not the whole product, but 95% of the way with like a chapter of your book or with an idea of your story, and then you go, fuck, but I'm wondering if it's a little bit too confusing at this part or whether it makes sense. You hand it to someone, you go, give me your reaction. And you're looking for, is this too confusing or does it make sense? And then they say to you, you know what? I was completely confused. Fuck, I was worried about it. Damn it, I was worried that was going to be too too confusing. Great. Perfect. That's useful feedback. If you're working on, let's say, let's say you're working at Dwarfheim, early development, and you put 3v3, two teams together, and nobody ever interacts with each other for the first 45 minutes. They just sit there building, and you go, ooh, shit, that's bad. Right? That's an interesting form of feedback. That's an interesting form of valuable thing where you go, oh shit, I thought.
Yeah, but the problem view. Okay, so this is about like people. This is more about people that think that feedback is so important, and we're going to talk about the Madden football monopoly and what's going on in the football world in a second. But there's a problem with feedback, especially when it comes to football games, because football games are a whole nother animal, and football fans are ridiculously like different. So just let's hear this out for a minute or so, and then we'll continue.
They'd be battling like crazy and nothing's happening. Oh, that's kind of useful. That's the sort of thing that's actually a useful thing to hear early on in a project. But here's the thing that's not useful, right? Here's the thing that I just don't like. The truth is,
the Sanemi dude, man. You gotta stop talking Japanese in here, bro. Like, either you talk English or stop spamming us, man.
Often you'll be in a creative project, and if you went in this direction, or this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, all of them would lead to a good game. All of them. If Supergiant, that recently made Hades, at some point said, what if we just made a story-driven, action-heavy, isometric game similar to Bastion? I'm sure they'd make a good game. What if they said, why don't we make this, I don't know, a more slow, deliberate combat style like Dark Souls? They could probably make a great game. Instead, they went for this roguelike that has really intense, fast-paced combat. All three of these would have been a good game. And if you plop feedback down, or plot people down to try to gather feedback, sometimes you'll hear trends that are nothing more than taste. The combat felt kind of fast. You should do something like Dark Souls. And maybe you hear that from 10 different playtesters. Who cares? Who cares? Because as we know, you can make fast-paced combat fun. So who cares if 10 people who recently played Dark Souls and want to be the next Miyamoto are just like, I don't know, maybe make Dark Souls combat. Who fucking cares, man? This
has also been part of my problem too, because like throughout the process of making Legend Bowl, I have heard time after time, like what I really wanted to do for this game, and I'm playing a game called Sifu. I think it's called Sifu, Sifu. You can see my videos. My last video was me playing it. I don't think that game has any difficulty level. Like I think it's just, and correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, but Sanemi, just chill with the comments, man. Like, you're okay to put comments in, but like you're putting in like one after the other that have nothing to do with anything. Anyways, Sifu has no, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has no difficulty level, and a lot of the games of the past didn't have that either. Which I actually like and prefer that. All right. So like you guys got to understand that people have told me, oh, the kicking's too hard, right? We've heard that a million times. The kicking's too hard, Havo. The kicking's too hard. Right. And so I've changed the kicking. I made it easier. I've added so many, like every person that has, this is part of my problem too. I've listened to way too many people. I know that, because once you start listening to people, like there's a problem, because there is a dilemma basically that you face as a developer. One is you have your vision. Oh, I have this game I'm going to make. It's going to be exactly this. I have exactly like what I want to do. And then you want to make sure people like it too. Right? You're doing this to make money, like commercially, right? If you're doing it commercially, if you're doing it as a hobby, then whatever, you can do what you want. But if you're trying to get people interested in your game, then you kind of want to make sure that you're making the right game, right? But at the same time, you have to understand that if you listen too much, then you're going to be creating this it's like ordering a pizza, right? If you're ordering the pizza for yourself and you like pepperonis and you like black olives, right? You put that on the pizza, you're good, you're golden. You like even like deep dish, right? When you start when even like let's think about it from a business standpoint. If you are a Italian restaurant, right? If you are an Italian restaurant and you're creating a pizza menu and you basically have a pizza that you start off with, I like pepperoni, I like olives. That's my pizza. I'm selling that pizza, right? The one pizza. Well, you're going to start hearing complaints. People are going to say, no, 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 I hate olives. I'm allergic to olives. I can't stand pepperoni. I'm a vegan, whatever. Then you start to take off things. Okay, I can't put pepperoni, vegans. Black olives, people are allergic to. Like, or you start adding in too much where it's like, oh, I like green peppers. Oh, I like this, or this crowd likes that. Like, you'll end up with you'll end up either with nothing on your pizza, or you'll end up with every single topping, every single style, and you'll have this Frankenstein pizza, right? The problem is when you listen and you take too much feedback and you're right. Feedback is fine, but when people either complain about feedback, like people always complain, it's not sim. You don't have a franchise mode. We need Madden has franchise, you got to add franchise. I hear it all the time. You got to have an in-game save. 2K5 and APF had no in-game saves, and those were the best football games ever made, at least in the current, last so many years. No in-game save. You got to have online. You got to have online. If you don't have online, then your game's not going to make it. I won't buy. No sale. No sim, no sale, right? We always say that. That's a bunch of horse shit. It is what it is. Because people just, I don't know what it is about football fans. They want Madden. They're not happy with Madden. They want something better than Madden. I don't know what it is. But they always try to pin your game against Madden. And we're going to get into that. If it were up to me, what I would have done with Legend Bowl was have no difficulty mode. You suck at games? You want to go play a lightweight game? Go play Retro Bowl. Go play Candy Crush. Go play something very, 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 very basic where you just push buttons. Boop, 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 boop. And there's no challenge. And that's okay. That's why you have pizzas with anchovies, because people don't like, so like there are crowds and my game was meant to be hard. It was meant to be challenging. It was meant to kick your ass. Sifu is a game I like because it literally beats you up. And I like it because it makes you want to get better. It makes you want to challenge yourself. If you're playing a game that's too easy, that's for people that want to play a game that's easy. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. That's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. And I know you guys, and this is the hard part. I know that you guys, but View, that's a bunch of bullshit, View. But then what do you do? Fine. Okay. So you're making a game. Let's go with this. You're making a game that now you're making this pizza that you want to cater to everybody, right? And you want to have this pizza that has it. You start to ruin the core of the game. And you're going to see this in the next video we're going to show. You start to ruin your vision. Yes, you're going to segment your audience and your potential customers. I get that. But you're not also trying to make a game. I can't make people who don't like sim football. I can't get them to like my game. Like if I do, then now the game becomes less sim, right? It becomes what they call Simcade, right? They're calling my game Simcade. They're comparing my game to Retro Bowl, which my game was never, ever, ever intended to be anything anywhere near that game. Not even close. Not even on the same radar. Not even in the same galaxy. That game is it might as well be Candy Crush for me. It doesn't that game is not even anywhere near what my game was going to be like. Retro Bowl's doing amazing. They're doing incredibly amazing. That's just not what I'm doing. And then you start to say, okay, well, like you say, like, okay, so let's see here. If people think it's too easy, go play it. But that's the problem. It's like if you give people too many options, if you give people too much, where does it end? Where, like, think about it too. I've had to deal with this because I have multiple settings. Well, guess what? Now I have to basically make like the game grows. Like if you have an easy setting versus a hard setting versus a normal setting, you have to make sure that the game is tuned and adjusted for each setting. Some things are a little easier, like a kick meter, right? That's easy to pretty much slow down or speed up depending on your speed. But when it comes to like your like other parts of the game, like it just becomes like, I don't know, like it's just I want a game to be like real life as much as possible in a lot of ways, where you're playing a hard team, a good team, then you're going to you're gonna have a challenge. If you're playing a lightweight team, a baby team, a team that's not very good, you're gonna beat them up, right? That's what I want this game to be like, and not so much depend on like settings and things like that. So I have a different mindset. We're gonna continue to watch this for just a minute, and then we're gonna keep
And to be
going.
clear, it's okay. It's okay. If you play test a game with fast combat and you say, I want it to be more like Dark Souls, that's okay to say. That's okay to say. I just don't necessarily think that someone should go, and my feedback is that the combat should be more like Dark Souls. Here, my gift to you. When I'm over at your house playtesting later, I'll look for it up on the most valuable place of your most valuable shelf. Ah, yes, my feedback. Here's the interaction I want. You should make a game that's more like Dark Souls with slow-paced combat. And the devs to go fuck yourself. And I go, fair enough. That should be the norm in feedback giving. That should be the norm. Why?
That is exactly how I feel. Go fuck yourself. And I don't mean it to any of you guys here, but you guys have to understand that, and I know a lot of you guys do, and I've actually asked you guys, I've encouraged you guys to give me feedback. And this isn't even really about you guys and feedback. This is just one of the things I wanted to talk about. Because it can ruin your game. It can make your game better. It can make your game worse. It can make your game project longer than it should be. I've been working on this game for over 4 years. It's like 4.5 years almost now. 4.5 years. I could probably have gone to study to be a doctor if that's what I wanted to do. That I don't want to do. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of these comments here. Yeah. You play Retro Bowl on the crapper. Yeah, Retro Bowl is a game you play on the go. But you got to understand that people compare my game to Retro Bowl all the time. All the time. And I really don't even want to hear that. And I have nothing against the Retro Bowl game. Like, that guy did a great thing for what he's doing, and I applaud him, and I'm happy for what he's doing, and I'm really not jealous. Like, I don't think I'm jealous. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm hating. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know how well he's doing financially. It doesn't really matter. Like, whatever. I'm making this game not to be a millionaire. If it happens, cool. If not, well, whatever. I just need to make enough money to get by. And, this is a lot of work. So you got to figure out what, and I'll have to figure that out as I go and navigate that. But it's not all about money. For me, it's about making a great game, right? But people compare my game to Legend or to Retro Bowl all the time. All the time. I mean, I even see reviews on Steam. It's like, and people say nice things. They're like, whatever. They just mention Retro Bowl's mentioned constantly. And what's funny is that I was creating this game way before Retro Bowl was even started. And it's not like a comparison. Like, I'm not trying to fight with them, but kind of you are. If people are comparing my game to Retro Bowl, then I guess I'm competing against Retro Bowl. I don't know. I know it's two different genres, but you got to understand that it gets thrown in my face a lot. Now, I know my game is not this perfect game. I'm just trying to do the best I can because they look similar. I know, but it doesn't take much for somebody to know that they're not. They're just not. It's not even close. It's not even close. But that part was really good where, this part here.
And this is my feedback. And what I'm looking at is a wet bag of baby shit. And I'm like, of your most valuable shelf. Ah, yes. You should make a game that's more like Dark Souls. Feedback.
This is the best part.
Here's the interaction I want. You should make a game that's more like Dark Souls with slow-paced combat. And the devs to go fuck yourself. And I go, fair enough. That should be the norm in feedback giving. That should be the norm. Why is it just like... And this is my feedback.
This is a great video. I'm going to link it in the comments and then the description here or whatever. I don't know how to do that. I'm not sure how to really do that like as I'm streaming. Let me see if I can do it now. Maybe I can. Oh yeah, I can. Let's do that. I'll link this on here so you guys can see these videos. And then my boy Sean, I'll link his video because we're going to do his next. And this is a great video that Sean did. I tweeted it out last night. So, okay, so now they're saved on there. I tweeted it out last night to show you guys. I feel like my lights are really bright. Is it just me? These lights feel really bright on my freaking face. Let's tone these down a little bit. All right, that's better. Whatever. All right, so we're going to take a look at this video. Yeah, I'm not like, to be honest with you, I am not upset about being compared to Retro Bowl. I personally have a thing about mobile games. It's not my thing. I don't play mobile games. I think they're for kids. I think they're for like people who don't want a real experience. They're very limited in what they can do. The controls suck. Like they're short, quick. They serve a purpose. Get in, get out. You're on a train, you're on a bus, you're traveling, whatever. You want something quick on the go, fine. They're a cheap version of like a mobile console like the Switch or the PSP, right? Or the 3DS. That's what they are. That's not for me. My hands are too big. I'm 6'3". My hands are like huge. I don't even want to be on that stupid thing. My phone is like, look at this. Yeah, okay. Sure. It's not for me. Ain't gonna happen. Mobile games, I'll be honest with you. I wipe my ass with them. I take a wipe and I wipe my ass with them. People bring Retro Bowl up to me. I don't want to hear it. Like I said, I know it sounds bad, but if you're watching, Simon Reed, I know your name. I've talked to you. You're a cool guy. Please, dude, no disrespect. Like, your game is killing my game. You're doing phenomenally. So if anybody should be like, like feel shitty, it should be like me, right? So I don't have any disrespect for you, man. I want your game to be phenomenal. Like I really do, and I wish you the best. It's just not for me. Like that's not what I do. And nothing against you guys. It's just not what I do. It's not why I quit my job and I'm doing this. I didn't do it to make a mobile game. I'd rather go get a job. That's how much I just despise mobile games. I don't play them. And what he did was great for what he did. And that's part of the problem. When you make a football game, you get compared to everything out there, right? You get compared to everything. You're going to get compared to Madden. You're going to get compared to All Pro Football. You're going to get compared to 2K. You're going to get compared to Tecmo Bowl, Retro Bowl, all the other games that have been out there in the past. You're going to get compared to them, and that's what happens. So this is good. This is like my rant video. Maybe I'm just sharing with you guys the reality. This is the truth of the situation. I'm working my ass off on franchise mode. And I've been like thinking about whether to even charge for it or not. But I gotta figure out, like, if my game was making the numbers that a game like Retro Bowl was making, right? Which I don't even know what they're making because the game's free, but whatever. And they charge like nothing for the game. It's cheap. If my game was making a ton of money, I could sell it for $5. If I had millions of sales, I could sell it for $2, a dollar, whatever. But my game isn't. So it's like, do you make it cheap and hope people buy it one day? Or do you have to like justify your work? If your audience is only this small, right? This small, very small. My audience, like you guys are the one. I mean, we have what, 20 something people in here? That is not going to buy you lunch, right? And you got to start thinking of it as a business if you're doing it full time commercially, which I am. But you see, if I had enough people, man, I wouldn't have to charge for it. That's the thing. I wouldn't have to. And that's the shitty part. Like if my game was $2, I wonder if I'd get a lot of people to play it. I don't know. That's the hard part, right? The price is always a tough thing. All right, so we're going to watch my boy Sean. This is a video. This is a video where I tweeted it out yesterday. It's in the description now. Check it out. This guy is the real deal. This guy had to go get a job because nobody bought his game. Now, in all fairness, maybe he didn't make the right game. This video is 43 minutes long, so I don't know how it's going to work. I may play it and like walk away and come back in and out. I don't know. I got to feed my dog. I got things to do. I'm going to be streaming for a little while, so hang tight. You know, if you guys get bored and leave, then that's cool. Come back, whatever. This video is going to be archived, so it'll be here. But I wanted to get this out because he made a game that he made a game that he had in his mind that was supposed to be a certain game, and things just changed. So let's just go ahead and watch this.
We're going to do things a little differently today. Today's going to be kind of a rambling post-mortem lessons learned on my football game dev career. Take a little look at, I guess, the three main football projects I worked on. Desktop Dynasties, which was the first one. Head coach football, which was like a lot of projects in the middle. And then, of course, the last thing, which was the 3K football project, or the Madden Killer, as we called it. And I guess the point, I don't know what the point is. The point is just...
I'll be right back, guys. So I'm going to play this. Just watch it. I need you guys to watch it. People need to watch this. That's why I'm just playing it here. Just watch it. Just watch it. And I'll be right back.
Talk about the things I learned, the things I wish I would have done differently, and ultimately why I think I'm pretty much done making football games. So, anyway, with that, let's dive into Desktop Dynasties. So Desktop Dynasties was my first game. I released it, looks like, March 8, 2019, but it was actually on early access for quite a while before that. The intent of this game was, I wanted it to be, I'll just play the video while we're going. I wanted it to be an early access game where I could keep developing features, and there were a lot of really cool things that I wanted to do with this game. And it was different. It was intended to be more of, I guess, a game board style, strategy. Let me pause it right there. More of a strategy style football game. As you can tell, it's 8-on-8 football, which right out of the box is totally different. There's not a lot of 8-on-8 football games out there. I'll play again now that you can see there's 8. It was really heavy on players played both ways. That was something you probably can't pick up from the videos, but players played both ways. They played offense, defense, and special teams. Very heavy on ratings, very heavy on assembling your team. It was very GM focused, draft trades, all that good stuff. Your coaches had their own skills. Yeah, so if you think about all the games that I've made since then, and here's just a little picture of the roster. You can see a lot of numbers, right? It was very numbers heavy. But it was the beginning of something interesting that I was trying to make. So we'll like flip through some of these screens. Yeah, there's a standing screen. That was pretty cool. Awards. It had college in it too. College at the time, at release, is an unplayable league. There's the draft preview. It just had a lot of really cool things in it. So the idea was I was going to make this 8-on-8 football game with all these, intensely focused on individual players and roster building. And then there were, it was going to be in a game board style because frankly, this was my first real commercial game, and I was terrible at animation at the time, to the point where I almost didn't even want to spend any time learning it. It was just something I was so bad at. So I thought the best way to get a game going and to develop it into the things that I wanted to make it into was to just put a game out there without animation and then just build on it as we went. And the dream I had was I was going to launch this game with no animation. They were just going to be game pieces, which is why when you look at these, they have these little platforms underneath them. The plan was they were just going to be like these little chess pieces that did all this stuff, and you were, the main part of the game, all of the management stuff was going to be built around that. And I had a lot of big plans for this game. There were a lot of things I was going to do. Even just in the time between early access and release, we updated the game engine 3 times, completely from scratch. So like the very first game engine wasn't good enough, so I wrote it again. And then that was closer, so then I wrote it again, and that was the Iverson engine. And it's like the evolution of this game was going really quick. Somewhere along the way, the feedback I was getting, and this is going to be a common theme you're going to hear me talk about a lot, is feedback. And I don't mean like internet feedback. Frankly, I don't pay attention to internet feedback, right? It's like Steam reviews. I haven't read a single Steam review for this game. When people review things on the internet, it's just way too easy for people to say something negative that they don't even mean or haven't even thought about. It's just too easy. It's too easy to rip a game without really putting any effort into it and fire it off onto the internet and just be like, oh, that game sucked, right? So I just don't care about those. What I do care about, though, are the interactions with people. So like Discord is a place that I spend a lot of time on, because if somebody comes on Discord and says that my game sucks, we can talk about it and I can figure out exactly what it is. For Desktop Dynasties, I wasn't really huge into Discord at the time, so I was doing it face-to-face with people. I was traveling around going to game dev. So like I did a lot of IGDA stuff, showing it off to people, talking to them about what they thought. I traveled to a number of places to meet people who were interested in this game or interested in football games, and show them what I had and have them play it, and then talk about what they felt. And then just random people I know who love Madden. Show them what I kind of explain what my dream is, what my vision is, and have them play the game and get feedback. So the feedback I got, I felt is very valuable because it was a conversation, usually face to face with somebody. They couldn't hide behind the internet. So I took that. I thought it was really meaningful. Now the downside of that is the feedback that I actually got. Even in the early version, the feedback was 8-on-8 football. That's dumb. I was like, well, wait a minute. Let me tell you what I'm trying to do. It's 8-on-8 because I want individual players to really matter. When you play Madden, like who cares who your fifth offensive lineman is, right? Your fourth wide receiver, who cares? Let alone everybody in the back 50, the back 10 of your 53-man roster. You don't care about those guys. Right? If you only play 8 players and you only have a 20-man roster, every player really matters. And they're like, "Oh, no, I get that. That makes perfect sense. It's still dumb." It's like, okay, well, why is it dumb? Just explain to me why it's dumb. And the answer is always the same. Well, that's not how it is in real life. It's not real. It's like, oh, okay, I get that. So the 8-on-8 everybody thought was dumb. Just because it's not NFL, right? All right, fine, right? You've been rammed NFL football down your throat for 20, 30 years. I get it. Nobody's interested in trying something new. I get it. That's fine. But outside of it being dumb, what do you think of the game? What do you think we're doing here? And the second piece of feedback I got was, your animation sucks. And I was like, well, what do you mean? There is no animation in it. And they're like, yeah, it just sucks. It's not even close to as good as Madden. I was like, well, yeah, I know. It's not supposed to be Madden. Like you see how they're little chess pieces? The intent is this is supposed to be a strategy game. This is supposed to be chess for football. Like, you see what I'm going for here, right? The chess pieces because it's chess for football, right? Right? Huh? And they're like, no, I picked up on that too. But it's just not going to be as good as Madden. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's dumb because it's not Madden, and it's not going to be as good as Madden. All right. Well, what else you got, right? And the last major piece of feedback I got was, so it was the animation sucks. It's dumb because it's not 11-on-11. Oh yeah. Is it going to have real NFL teams and players? And I was like, well, that's an easy one. No, never. Because I'm never going to get the NFL license because EA's got it locked up forever. And this was even before they renewed it for like another 5 years. I was just like, they're never going to give up that license, right? The NFL is never going to give up the billions of dollars from EA to take a chance on other, right? So they're never going to give up a sure $1 billion to take a chance on maybe getting a few $100 million someday. Like, that's just stupid business. They're never going to give the NFL license to anybody else. So my game is never going to have the NFL license. And by the way, no other game is ever going to have the NFL license. So like, just stop thinking about that as we're thinking about this. Every game from now on that is going to have a pro football that's not Madden is not going to have the NFL license. So like, stop thinking about that. Just think about what we're trying to make here. And they're like, yeah, I would never buy a football game that didn't have real players and real NFL teams. I was like, that sucks, but that's fair. Like, I get that, right? I like my real teams too. I can't fault anybody for that. The problem is, it's just like then you're just basically saying there's only one game that's ever going to exist, and that's Madden, and that was kind of disheartening. But I thought, well, let's just add customization in, right? So in this game, I added. This is the beginning of the things that I added to this game to try to make the potential fans happy. And this was the beginning of the downfall of my entire football dev career. I started off this game with an idea and a vision of a game that eventually I was going to get to, and frankly, it would be awesome. Like, if anybody would give it a chance, they would love this game, and this would be the kind of game that I would play nonstop for years, right? It was going to, I think it was going to be amazing. I learned along the way that it was me and like one other person that thought my vision was going to be awesome, because out of 100 people I talked to, that one person was super supportive, and like I have two fans of this game. One of them right away thought it was awesome and was all in. Another one played it for a little while, gave it a chance, and loved the game for what it was. The other, hundreds of people all hated everything about it because of those three things. It won't have real NFL players and teams. Animation is not as good as Madden. 8-on-8 football is dumb. Like, okay. So then I started let me try to change what my thought was to make the fans happy, right? I mean, after all, they're the people going to buy the game. I should listen to them eventually, right? That's what game devs always do, right? You listen to the people who are going to buy your game, because the people who are going to buy your game, they know, because they're the ones spending the money on your game. Right. Even though the game's not made yet, they know best. And that's what every game dev, as I was starting, every single game dev told me, listen to what the people want. All right, the people want Madden. Well, I can't make Madden, but what can I do to compensate for that? So step one was, well, I can't get the NFL license. Let's add customization, right? Let me allow you to change the teams. That way you can make them NFL teams if you want, right? That's cool. I can do that. That's not that hard. And if anybody was following my videos back then, you could see I actually started playing with real college. I had real college teams in it at some point, just to test out customization, and it worked. It was pretty cool. It took a lot of development time away from some of the other things I wanted to do, but we could do it, and we did it. They're not perfect, but they work. Okay, cool. And you can edit the files, and you can make real NFL players. All right, that's cool. So I got customization in. Now, that didn't really hurt the vision at all. That's no big deal. Whatever. But it opened the door. So got customization in, and people were like, "Well, that's cool." But it's still, your animation still sucks. Like, I don't like these chess pieces. You got to do animation. And I said, "Oh, all right, well," right. People were happy with customization. I think everybody who told me you gotta give everybody what they ask for, they were probably right. So I gotta continue to do that. So the next one was animation. And as you're looking at the video here, you can see that my animation really kind of sucks, right? It's not good. Right? His little celebrations, the running, the blocking, it's all kind of cheesy. Well, that's because if you remember, these are supposed to just be chess pieces. They weren't supposed to have animation. So I was not an animator at the time. So I put animation in the best that I could. And it wasn't good, right? It was not very good. But I made that clear, and everybody said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I would never buy this." And that's always the stick everybody uses. I'll never buy this game unless you have animation. All right, well, I'll add animation, right? The animation's gonna suck, but I'll add it, right? I got to make the fans happy, so I add animation, and what you get is this really cheesy, crappy animation, and frankly, it's embarrassing. But what do you do, right? You have to have animation because the fans say they want animation, and you have to do what the fans say. So you add animation, and it's an embarrassment. And I frankly, this is one of my biggest lessons learned is I really wish I didn't add animation to this game. I really think this was a better game without animation. What I was doing is I was doing poses, right? And you'll see that come back in some of the head coach stuff if you were following my progress on games. Is I brought back chess pieces with no animation. And that's been a thing I've been going back and forth on because everybody says they want animation, and then I put the animation in, and the animation sucks because it's not as good as Madden. But now they're more angry that I have bad animation than they were when I didn't have animation at all. And it was just something I kept getting beat up over, and I beat myself up over. And I frankly, lesson learned. I wish I would have stayed true to what I wanted in this game and not had animation in it. But anyway, so that was the second of the slippery slope things. And it kind of, at that point, I put animation in at the end, and the next thing was, um, you need gamepad control, right? This was a coach mode only game, right? Um, the next request was, I want to be able to play on the field, and I was just like, but that's not what this game is. This game is not playing on the field. And everybody said, well, I won't buy it unless I can play on the field. I was like, all right, let me try that. So I started, excuse me, I started messing around with that, and I got it to work, but I was at the point where it was killing me. It was just the game it wasn't working right anymore. The ratings didn't really matter anymore. So I just finally got tired of it all and said, I'm done. Launch the game. And I launched it into early access. Excuse me. Actually, it was already in early access, and I just finally got to the point where it was like, you know what? I could add that in if people really like this game and if they're really into it. I'll add it in. It works. My testing shows it works, but like we gotta go. So I got out of early access and I launched the game. And then I kind of started queuing up all the cool things I wanted to do. Now that I was kind of done with the community requests, I started getting back to, all right, let's talk about all the cool things. Like, in the cool things were I was getting ready to revamp the coaching system, right? The coaching system was kind of sucked and it wasn't fully thought out, but I was getting, like, the college league was implemented, and I was getting ready to revamp the coaching system. I was going to make college leagues playable, and those were the next few things. And then, try to figure out, um, just some of these other little rough areas, make free agency more interesting, right? I had all these really cool ideas we were going to do, and it launched, and like nobody bought the game, right? To be expected, right? I have no marketing arm of Golden Crest Games. Excuse me a second. So I'm not that surprised that nobody bought the game. I kind of expected that. And the plan was I was going to keep updating this game for years. So it didn't really matter that nobody bought the game. The thing that I wasn't expecting, and the thing that changed everything for me on Desktop Dynasties, was how much everybody hated the game. And frankly, that was hard for me to take. So I launched it, and I guess I probably should have stayed. Thinking about it, I should have stayed in early access for much longer. But at the time, people were saying early access is a bad place for your game to evolve. People were telling me, other devs were telling me, you have to, nobody cares about early access games. Nobody's going to give you feedback. Just launch it and provide meaningful content updates after launch. That's the only time you're going to get anybody to actually pay attention. So I did, and frankly, it was a mistake. I should have stayed in early access much longer. Because when I launched, people that I knew that knew the game was coming out, people that I talked to after, people that I jumped on the Steam, that people that I talked to on other avenues, universally hated the game. Like I said, I have 2 fans. Everybody else hated it, and they all hated it for the same 3 reasons, right? It's not NFL teams and players. Your animation sucks. It's not as good as Madden. And 8 on 8, I don't get it. That's dumb. So basically, the message I got out of Desktop Dynasties was there is no interest in creativity when it comes to football. We are not interested. We as a market are not interested in anything new. And if you try to do something new, it's dumb. So that was the lesson I got out of Desktop Dynasties, right or wrong, right? That's what I was feeling at the time. So I basically quit game dev after the launch of Desktop Dynasties for probably like 2 years, 3 years, something like that. I was out. Like I had learned that this industry sucks and game consumers are horrible and everybody hates everything you do unless you just unless you're a solo developer and you make a game better than Madden on your first try, and oh, by the way, it has to be $5.99 or less, everybody's going to hate you. That's what I was feeling at the time. Granted, I may have been a little dramatic at the time. I get that. That's fine. But that's what I was feeling. So I quit. So my experience on Desktop Dynasties made me quit game dev completely. For at least a couple of years. So what happens then? Well, like anything you're passionate about, right? You can't stay away forever. And I love football games. Frankly, like that's all it comes down to. I love football games. And just looking around, like see people are getting up. So I came back and we started doing head coach. And what this was, it's yeah, here you can see it. So here's one of my videos of me play testing head coach. And Iowa State, San Diego, right? Real teams, right? Of course, you got to have real teams. 11 on 11, because you got to have 11 on 11 because anything different is dumb. But coach mode, and it's me talking through something. I don't know what I'm talking about there. Let's get to a play. Here we go. So it's coach mode, but you'll also notice there's no animation, right? We're back to what my original thought was, is I wanted chess pieces because I wanted it to be a game, a strategy game for football. It's literally that's what I wanted, a football strategy game. I got to cover up other me. That's annoying. So I went back to it, right, for head coach. Head coach was something I was making for me. It was going to be just everything that I wanted Desktop Dynasties to be. But this is what I was telling myself, right? Everything I wanted Desktop Dynasties to be, but an 11 on 11 format with real teams. That customization so you could have real teams. So basically, I've already baked in all the things, right? All the things that people are hammering me on about Desktop Dynasties. I had already baked that into my vision, because I had learned that there's no room for deviating from what's already out there, which is sad. It's kind of sad now that I look back. But I gave it another try.
All right, so I'm back for a second. Well, not for a second. I mean, I'm here. I'm taking a break from game dev right now. Fed the dog, did what I had to do. Now I'm back. So I've been watching the comments. I've been actually like watching the video. It's hard. Like the thing that you guys are realizing, and there's two sides to it, right there. And by the way, this is a Friday video that stream I'm doing for two reasons. One, to take a little break from the game, and two, to just talk about this because it's a problem that we have. It's a problem that game devs have, period, like across the board. And basically, like, what's this wide one do? Okay, this is good too. Basically, what my hair's a freaking mess. Basically here we go. Gotta look pretty, even though I don't look pretty. Hide my hairline. Okay, basically what's happening here is we have a dilemma, right? We have a problem. The problem is you have like this battle going on. One with how much do you want to please the consumer? And then also, how much do you want to keep your vision intact? They both have they both have um they both have their benefits, right? One side is, okay, I'm going to appease to the community, to the masses, whoever, and whoever your target demographic is, I'm going to make sure that everything I do is up to their standards, up to their liking, whatever. Then you have the other side of it, and that will be good for if you want to try to appease to the masses, but you got to understand, this is the problem. You got to understand the fans that we're talking about. There is no game developer out there who can talk to us about our fans. Everything that people out there have experienced with their communities and their genre of game, they don't know anything about our fans. Football fans are very, very different creatures. I'm a fan, Sean's a fan, you guys are fans. All of us, have been through hell. We've been through the golden era, the golden age, right? Of having options, being able to play NFL licensed games, NCAA licensed games. We grew up with arcade games, the great ones, Tecmo Bowl, NFL Blitz, NFL Street. Most of those games had the NFL and had those licenses in there. All right, Sean, we'll catch you. Most of them had those licenses in there. That's a big checkbox. Got to have the license. You got to have the license. If you don't have the license, I'm not buying. No license, no sale. Got to have that checkbox. Okay, if you don't have the license, well, at least you can make customization an option. But that's still limited because, like for Legend Bowl, I don't have a logo customizer, which maybe I might talk to the publisher and see if we add something in. I don't know. But right now, there's not going to be a way on consoles to create your own logo. Maybe down the road. People want the license. If they don't have the license, you just lost a whole, like a pie of your customers. Then you have the other customers that are willing to go and get a mod or go and create a logo on their own and put the work that it takes. Most people just want it easy. They want to go through a drive-through and pick out what they want. The problem is we don't have a drive-through with a fucking menu. We have Madden. You go to the drive-through and they're serving one thing down your throat. Madden. I'll take a large Madden. I'll take two. What do you want? Oh, I'll take Madden. Madden. It's all we have. It's all we fucking have. Which is why we're making games, football games, because nobody wants to just have one option. I don't. Especially when the option sucks for a lot of people, including myself. When the golden age ended, you bounced off. Good. Good for you. I never could do that. There were some great games. All Pro Football. ESPN 2K5. Backbreaker. Backbreaker was phenomenal for what a smaller dev studio. Now they weren't AAA, they were like AA, I guess. They had something special. Nobody wanted to buy it. I mean, do you know how awesome that game was at its core and nobody bought it? Nobody bought it. You have to be, and I've talked about this. We always talk about this, and I've gone back and forth because I'm making Legend Bowl. I'm making a franchise mode now. We're pushing it out to consoles. I hope that it can do great, and I'm proven wrong. I hope that people. It's not even that I'm proven wrong, because you got to also understand that I'm not making a 3D game on purpose. That's a death wish. To me, that's a death wish. Unless you do something creative like what Sean's doing with Cyberball, that's a death wish. You do not stand a chance against a game like Madden. And not even Madden. You're competing against every single game that was ever made. Every football game that was ever made, right? You're competing against Backbreaker, All Pro Football, 2K5, 2K4, 2K3. You're competing against the Dreamcast 2K games. You're competing against Tecmo Bowl. Now you're competing against Retro Bowl. Madden, of course. Game Day, NFL Fever, NCAA, and the list goes on and on and on. You're competing against every game, every football game ever made. Are you out of your fucking mind? Why would you do such a thing? Why? Sean says it well in this video, and we're going to keep going. I got to change Sean's face because
we were going with head coach for a while.
Let's get him at a good stop here so he doesn't look like he's going to kill somebody. That's better. But if you follow the video, and we played it for about 20 minutes, I was watching this last night, and I watch it from time to time. I really haven't I think I've watched it like once or twice before, but it's been a while, and I was watching it last night, and I was kind of laughing and crying inside because this is why the community, and by the way, there is no fucking community. There's no fucking community. There is no sim community. Okay? There is no such thing as a sim community, because bullshit. If there was, then other games would have made it. The only people that are doing well in the sim community are the people that are bullshitting you and lying to you and have their, some of them are just trying to make money on their YouTube channels, or they're in bed with EA. Like, there's no sim community. That died when Apex, the legend, died. Okay? Apex was the pioneer. And if you guys don't know who Apex is, he's Gideon Prime. Look up Gideon Prime. He had the best videos. He had the best simulation breakdown videos of our era. The best. He was the first one that was basically doing it. Way back. He got sick and tired of it early. He saw the future early. And he saw what was happening to the sim community, and he bailed. He's like, I started this thing. I'm leaving it because it's getting toxic. It's getting polluted. It's getting disruptive. It's not what it was meant to be. It's becoming this bigger thing where people just want to be greedy and have their own agendas. The whole entire sim community was dead when he left, and he took all his videos out. Now he's still around here and there. He's changed a little bit. He's gotten older, whatever. If you guys don't know who he is, then you missed out. But he knew that there's no sim community anymore. And the little bit that he was trying to do was, and see, this is the problem that people have, that people that are, the people that are really trying to make a difference and trying to make something great are the ones that typically never make it, because it's not pretty. This video I'm doing now, this stream, with you guys. And thanks for stopping through, because I could have nobody here. And I appreciate every single person that sincerely supports my game, supports the movement. I do. I appreciate you guys for real. It's real talk. I'm one of the guys, right? I'm one of you guys. I lost my train of thought, but let me read these comments while I think about what I was talking about. But that's the thing, man. It's like, but that's the problem. 2K Football Now says Backbreaker also had a static camera angle and it was a lot different than people were used to. Yes, different is good sometimes, right? People wanted Madden. People wanted 2K5 also, which was a lot like Madden. Like 2K5 and Madden are the same type of camera. They had the same type of camera angle, right? They had a lot of the same stuff. They didn't do a lot of things that were different. What was different about ESPN 2K5 was it was just a 10 times better quality game. And it had presentation aspects that Madden doesn't have today. Has a deeper franchise than Madden doesn't have today. That game took the realism of football and it fucking hit it out of the park, man. It fucking hit a grand slam home run in the World Series final game, final at bat. Need to win or go home. They hit it big. Madden shut them down. Then they went off and made the best, to this day, the best football game on the field called All Pro Football. To this day, it's the best. That game never had a chance because people didn't buy it. Okay? Pisses me off. I bought like 2 or 3 copies because I wanted to see it All Pro Football too. I had to see it. Didn't happen. Every football fan out there wants Madden, but an improved version of Madden. They don't want something different. And if they do, it better be different. It better be so different. You see, and that's why I'm making, and see, you guys got to understand, and I always go back and forth with Sean on this. I'm always telling him to not make a 3D game. I am making Legend Bowl. Not one person has compared my game to Madden. Not like specifically Madden. They say it's not sim. They say they want all the pieces of Madden. They want sim. Madden's not sim anyways, but whatever. They want the NFL license. Okay. They want franchise mode. You're getting something. And it's fucking nice. It's fucking nice. Online mode. What else? Franchise mode, online mode, license, AAA graphics, AAA game, AAA like animations, ain't happening. But my game, Legend Bowl, they don't compare. They'll say Retro Bowl because pixel style. I get that. Art style. They try to compare the two. But my game isn't being compared to Madden. And so I may have a shot. Legend Bowl may have a shot. I'm hoping it can make it. Hoping it can make it. I'm pouring everything I have into this. Everything. My whole life is about this. But you have to understand that if you look at every example, if we go back in history and we look at, let's put the chat up here so you guys can kind of see. If we look at the history of football games, everybody wants that game to be Madden. Backbreaker, they didn't like the camera. No, they didn't like the throwing style. And yeah, they could have done better with that. But that was their first version of the game, guys. Like, That was the first version of their game. And they're making a football game. Not a 2D platformer, not a first-person shooter, not even an RTS, not a roguelike, whatever. They're making a football game. I mean, a football game. It's depressing. Pisses me off. And yeah, when I played Backbreaker, I was like, shit, you know, I wish it had certain things. I did wish the camera was a little bit further back, but I'm so programmed and so like, you know, there are things, there's so many things going back to feedback about Backbreaker that back then they weren't, back then, even today, a lot of companies don't do it, but you don't even get a chance to give feedback. They used to have like a game changer type team that they might pick up and say, okay, you guys help me with feedback. Nowadays, it's a little bit more common, but it's still nowhere near what it could be. But the problem with their game is maybe they just didn't have enough time. And people, you see, I think they didn't have enough time because that's my opinion, though. I'm a guy who would support such a game. Somebody who just wants Madden. Like, I have friends that play Madden probably still. I know they're getting older now, but they don't think far enough ahead. Like, they just know what's right in front of them, which is Madden. NFL, NCAA, Madden. They don't go, they're not as deep as some of us are on here. So they may not have even thought about Backbreaker, right? But if you think about Backbreaker, and I keep going back to Backbreaker because it was different, okay? I actually have, let me see if I can find it here. I actually have, because I'm such a fucking maniac. By the way, if you guys don't know, I built editors. I built editors for Backbreaker. Like, am I out of my mind? I don't even know where they are. They're here somewhere. I've built editors for Backbreaker, ESPN 2K4, because we already had a 2K5 one. I built 2K4 from the ground up. I built All Pro Football. You guys know that. The editor. But I have some really cool, I made sure to save. Here we go. We gotta watch. This is awesome, man. We're gonna watch this. We're gonna fucking watch this. We're going to fucking watch it now. Sorry, I'm cursing, but fuck it. Let me see if I can go full screen. Enter. There we go. All right. Let's watch some of this. This is what we got to watch, guys. You guys ready? I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
Backbreaker is, in our opinion, the first sports game that is truly live. Whatever you see on the field hasn't happened before and won't happen again. And the way we achieve that is we use Euphoria to actually calculate the action on the fly. So that means that you can't predict the gameplay anymore, but it also means that everything becomes much more intense. And what we've done with Backbreaker is add to that a third-person camera. We don't really want to chase a broadcast experience. It's already done very well by other games. What we try and do is take you onto the field and make it feel like you are actually a player on the field.
You are down low, you are in the action, you'll see the tackles.
All the interactions and all the things you didn't expect are happening right around you, as opposed to you feeling quite detached and looking down on them.
You're not this kind of god over the football field who can see everything.
Some people have kind of thrown their hands up and go, wow, this is sacrilege. You know, I've been playing football games for 20 years and I've never seen this before. This camera view is something that we've been planning from day one. It's not something that can be retrofitted to, a game that's been designed already. You know, this is something that was important to us right from the outset.
The live element comes from the fact that obviously we have euphoria in the game and literally anything can happen. It's not pre-scripted, it's not canned animation.
Euphoria gives you the opportunity to do anything. I think where if you're just using pure mocap, it's all very, although it's not necessarily scripted, it's all sequential. Where Euphoria, it can do anything. We can, at any point, we can do a tackle, do a catch, do a block, we can fall over, get up, do anything.
The Euphoria engine allows the game to create these real, live, dynamic, on-the-fly tackles that you'll never see in any other kind of game.
It's a lot about the game doing things you didn't anticipate, but the simulation can accommodate, and the player's reaction to that. I think that's one thing that other games can't do.
One of the things that impressed me most is the interaction between the offensive and the defensive line. It's not just the tackles that are different. Every battle on the offensive line is different, and every individual matchup changes from play to play, and that's something you'll never see on another football game.
One of the things that was important for us with Backbreaker was to make it as easy to play as possible.
It was designed to be a pick-up-and-play game from the outset. One thing we really sort of wanted to avoid with traditional football games is you generally have abstract events mapped to numerous different kinds of buttons, which it's not as though they don't make sense, but it's not something you can gauge immediately when you're playing it, and we didn't really want the player to look through a 4 or 5 page manual to find out how to juke or how to spin. So the philosophy from the start was we'd look.
All right, see, this is a problem. This is a bunch of bullshit. They just basically said that they tried to make the game pick up and play. This game was hard. Like, the camera angle alone was like way too much pressure. Way, like, see, this is where they messed up. If that was their goal, which I don't see it, like, I think this game was pretty advanced. Like when they first started showing the early, I remember I saw this the first time, and it was just a guy running in this like empty stadium. It was a guy just running. If they're doing pick up and play, the camera, even the controls were annoying, to be honest. They made you read. They made you do progress. They had fucking player progression. They had quarterback progressions. You had to go from receiver to receiver to receiver to receiver. Are you fucking kidding me? And that's supposed to be pick up and play? Arcade? Come on. Please. Like, get the fuck out of here. But what's funny is that they did exactly what I wanted. A sim guy, which I call myself a sim guy, whatever that means. I want player progression. I want the game to be harder. I want the game to be, I like the camera. Yeah, it was annoying at times, and yeah, it wasn't perfect, which is another thing. From a technical standpoint, what was stopping them from bringing the camera up? Because it could have been a performance issue too. It could have been like, okay, if we bring the camera up. But I think the problem with the camera was the fact that everything relied on that player progression. Everything relied on what you, at least on offense, when you're the quarterback, you're progressing from receiver to receiver. And if that was blown out to a higher level, zoom out, like a camera, right? Then they'd have to recode it to like not do the player progression and like just highlight players or whatever. But that couldn't have been that crazy to do. Although I know everything with coding it takes time, right? But the game was way beyond its years, you know?
The physical action of the player on the field. So if you imagine he's juking right, and we'd literally take that and map it to the stick. So a juke right would be a right movement on the right stick, or a spin would be a rotation of the right stick. And what we want to do, and hopefully what we've achieved, is the player could almost guess, anticipate what the controls would be just by looking at the action they want to perform.
Sport in real life gets you those kind of unique, exciting moments that you never see in video games. The revolutionary aspect of Backbreaker using Euphoria is that it enables the game to recreate these incredibly intense, exciting sporting moments.
Let's keep going. This is the second one. I have all the videos. I have them all downloaded. And I love that uniform too. That Buffalo uniform was sick.
Backbreaker is the first sports game that uses Euphoria. Euphoria is our technology that allows us to simulate human movement in real time. We do that by simulating the body of the character, in this case the player, the muscles and the nervous system.
The game
that
had,
means that all the characters...
The game had like a lot of ragdoll physics to it, right? Like it was very ragdoll-y, you know? Let me see if I can get to the, there we go. The game was, I'll leave it on this. The game was very ragdoll-y. Like the way the animations were kind of a little bit, but this is the first iteration. Like, God.
Using Euphoria are fully interactive. Euphoria originally started as a university research project at Oxford University, where we were trying to simulate how humans and how animals move in real time. We ended up with very simple creatures learning how to walk in a very wobbly fashion. But already at that point it was clear to us that these characters were truly interactive. They weren't just canned animations anymore.
So Euphoria is using the game to handle the interactions between the players, rather than just play a pre-canned animation, which is taken from a large library. Euphoria actually calculates the interactions between the players, so it happens on the fly. As developers, we sometimes don't know ourselves what's actually going to happen, which makes it so exciting.
All of Euphoria is based around the concept of behaviors. So we replace hundreds of tackle animations with one tackle behavior. And that behavior is actually a real-time simulation of the motor nervous system, obviously simplified so it can run fast enough on a console, but it essentially is an active simulation of what the character is trying to do.
The Euphoria agents are all autonomous, so essentially they, to an extent, make their own decisions. The downside of that is they'll sometimes do things that we don't want them to. So if you're using a game which uses more...
Okay, let's take a look at this for a second.
Sometimes do things that we don't want them to.
Look at how many people are in this room. And this is a piece of the room. I'm just one dude. I'm just one dude trying to make a game. I'm not making this type of game. But that's the point. For a company to invest the kind of money that this company probably had invested to make this game, for it to be, it had to have been a failure because they stopped making it, obviously. They had their mobile game, the Touchdown Alley game, which probably did well, and they've been making mobile games since. I don't think they've made any other AAA, like console type games. Look at how many people are there, brother. This is one table of probably 10 in there. Let's see.
So if you're using a game which uses more capture pre-canned animations, we could literally just not put an animation there that has, for example, grabbing a face mask. But with the Euphoria agents, we've got to tell them specifically not to do that. As with everything in Euphoria, gang tackles, because it's interactions, will just happen. It doesn't matter if it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 guys involved in a gang tackle. The system can just deal with it.
I mean, gang tackles, man, that was so cool. And I hate to like jump off into this game, but man, it just brings me back to like all the things. And I know all pro I could sit here and show you all pro football, which you guys know. All pro football is a great game. I love all pro football to death, you know, and sucks, man. I hate going down this path because it can get depressing. But the point I was trying to make was that I'm not working on a game that is going to compete with this. I can't compete with this. I fucking can't compete with this. Can't. How in the fuck? Yes, I'm saying the bad words. How can I compete with this?
Events such as tipping the ball or batting the ball can happen just naturally because you know, if you put your arm up and you're in the way of the ball, you will hit it.
And then someone can pick it up. Someone can, you know, get an interception from it. A receiver can grab it and make the yards. It just happens because of Euphoria.
I'm a huge video game sports fan. I've been playing football games and basketball games and soccer games for years. I think people are going to pick this game up, they're going to experience what Euphoria offers, and it's going to be really hard for them to go back and just, play a normal sort of canned animation sports game again.
Right. Stop trying. But see, you got to understand that there are plenty of people out there that aren't happy with Madden. And they want to make something different. They want to try to find a way. Yeah, and I'm not saying that what I did was a mistake or my game's a failure. No, by no means at all. I'm just talking as a fan here today, and also, talking about football games and why we don't have any. Why we don't have any options out there. There's none. Give me an option right now, any of you guys here, that you guys would rather play than Madden. I don't play Madden. And when I say an option, I'm not talking about the old games. I'm talking about a brand new game that came out this year. Tell me which one. Or last year. Within the last 2 years. Tell me a game. Go ahead, pick one. Legend Bowl. Okay. Yeah, besides my game, and that's why I mean I don't even compare my game to these games, but besides my game, I mean that's a compliment. I'm gonna play these without any kind of volume, just so we can talk and watch at the same time. Maybe I'll put a little volume.
Backbreaker differs from other sports titles in that it doesn't use the usual top-down camera. That was a conscious
Oh, this is
decision that
important.
we made some time ago because we wanted to...
Okay, this is important. Let's watch this.
Backbreaker differs from other sports titles in that it doesn't use the usual top-down camera. That was
Football
a conscious
games,
decision that
Madden
we made
gamer.
some time ago because we wanted
Madden
to bring
gamer.
you right
shit.
into the action rather than looking at the action from 20 feet above.
It was important to us to try and really
Okay, hold on, I missed that. I gotta watch.
Backbreaker differs from other sports titles in that it doesn't use the usual top-down camera. That was a conscious decision that we made some time ago because we wanted to bring you right into the action rather than looking at the action from 20 feet above.
It was important to us to try and really recreate the sensation and the feeling, the emotion and the incredible action and violence that comes with a real football game. One of the benefits of having this down on the field camera view is that it really makes plays like when you're playing as the quarterback, like the passing mechanic, feel really natural. And you're just scanning the field. You pick out that receiver that you want to pass to and you make that pass. It really feels like you're down there right in the action.
We chose the on-the-field view because it suits the style of gameplay we're going for. Coupled with the Euphoria technology, you actually feel like you made that tackle. You hit someone and the camera, it jerks and you see everything happen. You really feel the impact.
Especially when you're sacking the quarterback and you blindside him. There was one I had the other day where I barged tackle into him from my shoulder and you just saw his whole spine bend back and his head go back, with whiplash, and it was just such a big hit. And again, if you're far back, you would never get that. You wouldn't see the detail. If the pocket starts to collapse as well, you actually see it in front of you, you start to panic.
It's actually quite scary.
Yeah, and you want to scramble, you want to throw the ball away, you want to make that quick pass. You wouldn't get that if the camera's up so high. You wouldn't have essentially the emotional attachment to it because you're not down on the field. I think the other thing is when you're engaged in a block and we tilt the camera slightly and you're actually physically engaged with that guy, and through the camera work what we do is we track the ball carrier, so although you can see the guy you're blocking against, you try to get around him, we always frame the ball carrier so you always know where you want to go to.
Backbreaker is really intense as it is. You can be a linebacker and you go piling in for the blitz on the quarterback. But if he makes that pass, the game's not over. You can switch. You just tap a button and you're instantly swapped to the best player at the time. It might be the safety, it might be another linebacker.
Or if if you're on the defensive line, you want to sack the quarterback, but you miss, he passes the ball, no problem. Switch to the safety, take him down. Now that we have this camera, I think it's quite apparent that we would never want to go back anyway. If you're charging down the sidelines and you're about to get a touchdown, it just feels so much more real. Especially if there's a guy behind you and you slowly see his shadow creep up, and there's that anticipation of, am I going to get there? Am I going to get there?
Totally, yeah.
Do I want a showboat? Do I have enough time to do that? It just makes it so much more intense. It just makes it so much more exciting.
It also makes you jump out your skin when a safety comes across and wipes you out just when you're about to score the touchdown.
What a fucking game. What a game. What's this one? Team customization. They did it. Oh, and by the way, yeah, the uniforms are different, but they nailed it when it came to logo creation.
Backbreaker features some of the most powerful customization tools found in any sports game. You can start off by taking an existing team and modify it to your liking. All teams in Backbreaker have been created with the game's built-in tools, so you know they work. However, if you're feeling more creative,
I don't know why this is
then
glitching.
how about
This is getting glitchy.
creating a team totally from scratch? You'll have the same options as before, but we're giving you a blank canvas.
Now, when it comes to their actual team, like,
You're able to
it
design
was
uniforms from
very
scratch
limited.
and change the color of
They had no player faces,
every
no hair,
single
no facial hair.
piece of kit the players wear. Backbreaker features a powerful layer-based logo editor that allows you to create virtually anything you can imagine. We've included countless shapes, cutters, letters, and blockers, and you can color, resize, rotate, squeeze, and squash them to your liking. You can build logos up from 500 layers, enough to make some incredible designs. And it doesn't stop there. You can design separate helmet logos, as well as separate images to use in your end zone. This works in the same way as before.
Yeah, they even had the end zones. They had the logos.
But for the end zone images, we give you 1,000 layers to play with. What you create is totally up to you. And when you're done, you can drop your team into season or road to backbreaker mode and develop your creation further.
They even had a franchise type mode where you can go from season to season. Yes, it wasn't even what I'm doing, but they had some stuff in here. But it was very. But see, this is the problem that we have. The problem that we have, and this is what sucks, is that how are we ever going to get a better game if we don't give games like this chances? We didn't give this game a chance. When I say we, I mean anybody, customer. They didn't get enough customers. And by the way, just so you guys are aware, if Legend Bowl doesn't get the support it needs, which it still hasn't, to be honest, it's not going to make it. It's not going to make it. Now, I know Legend Bowl's a different game. I know it's not the same crowd, or not exactly the same crowd, but not going to make it.
Further as you go. Or you can take your new team online to play your friends who
They even had online. I knew that. I knew it. I just didn't think about it. They had online. They had online.
will see every single bit of your design.
As a developer, knowing that we have nobody else making a game, please. The running game was awesome. I mean, I know it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty cool.
The running game in Backbreaker is the bedrock of your offense. Because Backbreaker's action is euphoria-based, it pays to learn how to use physical momentum to your advantage. Knowing when to stay agile and when to really go for it is key to gaining yards. You move with the left stick and perform special actions like juking or stiff arming.
Which I thought and I hate, I know this isn't just about Backbreaker. I'm a fan. I love this stuff, you know, but Backbreaker, these moves were hard as shit. This game was not a baby game. In some aspects, it was. Play calling was very limited. The moves were very limited. But the way things were controlled and the camera angle was not basic and intuitive at all. These moves are not intuitive and they're very basic.
With the right stick. Let's start with Agile mode, the default mode in Backbreaker's running game. Flick left or right on the right stick to perform a juke move. A quick circular movement will launch a spin move. This nicely throws your opponents off. Flicking the right stick up.
And by the way, if you guys like this game, I was making an NFL mod for this game at one point. And it's on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. The gameplay was getting pretty good because I had sliders that I was doing from my roster editor program, which you can still pick up on simheads.com, by the way. I think it's like $5. And I tweaked all the values where the gameplay was the best I could ever get it.
Performs a hurdle. And if you find yourself in one of those 4th and goal moments, why not go for it with a high-flying dive? Just hold the right stick up, and your player will attempt to clear the line of scrimmage in front of him. Now to the other side of the running game. To enter aggressive mode, hold the right trigger. Your right stick now performs power.
That's cool, Warrior Bear. Yeah, making logos was I tried to make a couple. I made a few back in the day, but as soon as I got the actual logos, I was done. I was like, I'm done making them. But and somebody out there had an awesome fantasy logo pack that they were making, and I talked to them in the past, and they just never could get it off of their. But I wanted it so bad, then they lost it. Like they were making a badass logo, like suite of logos.
Moves. Moving the right stick left or right lets you stiff arm your opponents. Because Backbreaker's action is physics-based, you'll need to get your timing and positioning right. To charge through players in front of you, hold the right stick up to perform a shoulder barge. This aggressive move should help you smash through the line and pick up valuable yards. Again, the action is physics-based, so take into account the number of defensive players you're facing. And finally, hold the right trigger to scramble as the quarterback.
Let's go to another one. What's this one? Passing game.
Passing in football is all about focus. You need to read the play as it unfolds and hit the receiver with maximum precision. Backbreaker uses a simple and powerful control scheme for passing. You move your quarterback.
And that's what's funny is that going back to feedback, right? When you're making this kind of a game, like here's the thing. If you're making a AAA game that looks like
with
this,
a left stick, and you pass to make a quick.
You're making a game that looks like this. Number one, like you said, bring the camera angle. Like if you're gonna make a 3D game, the point of this whole entire like stream is to say that people want Madden. If they would have they tried to be different. They tried to be different. Sean tried to be different. I'm trying to be different. Now my difference is so different. Like my game's a pixel game, so I think that was the key. I mean, look at Retro Bowl. Retro Bowl's doing great. And I was talking about it earlier. They're doing great. They're not compared to Madden. They don't get compared to this. They don't even have the same customers. But if you're going to make a game like this, you have to then make Madden. You have to put the camera up. You have to put the buttons in the receiver. I mean, people have been asking me forever to get rid of my QB meter. They just want to push a button. Fuck them. I'm not changing that. Fuck it. I'm not changing it. Stays the way it is. ride or die on it. Not changing it. Go play Madden. Go play Retro Bowl. Go play another game. Don't play my game. And I'm not saying it to be Mr. Badass. Fuck it. That's the truth.
Bullet pass.
See, I get pissed. And I'm not Mr. Tough Guy. I'm just saying I get pissed.
Or move the right stick down and up to loft the ball.
And I'm not saying the passing bar is anything that's so great. I stole it from Super Mega Baseball. The way they pass, the games, like the pitching in all the baseball games, that's basically what it is. The infielding, outfielding, the fielding period in Super Mega Baseball, you hold it down and you let it go. If you hold it down too much, it kicks back and you get... That's all it is. That's all it is.
Over the defense. To scan the field and switch receivers, simply hold the right stick left or right. The currently targeted receiver is highlighted red. If you prefer, all highlights can be switched off. You need to read the action on the field to maximize your chances. Throw into double coverage and the interception risk rises. Throw before your receiver reaches his mark, and you'll likely make an incomplete pass.
Let's see this last video here real quick. I want to see which one. Oh, defense. Well, defense was really good. That's the one thing that was easy to do in this game, or felt the camera felt good on defense.
Backbreaker's unique down on the field camera gets you right into the action on defense. Your skills matter, so let's take a look at how to use them. You move with the left stick, and playing D in Backbreaker is all about playing a role in back.
And even the camera angle was a little bit further. It felt like you were further back up, and you were. You weren't that close up, and that was the best way to play that game. All right, so we're done with the whole backbreaker thing. Let's get rid of the backbreaker thing. Let's get back to Sean.
This was getting pretty far. You could play. This was focused more on the college league, and this was getting pretty far. And I was getting pretty excited about it, and I was learning.
Will there ever be online play? Probably not for a long time. Online is a huge undertaking, a lot of money. It's a lot. So if you guys want online play, you got to go play Madden. That's all I can say. And maybe down the road we get it. And this is what like Backbreaker had online play. Nobody bought the fucking game. All Pro Football had online play. Nobody bought the game. Online play is a huge expense. Those companies can do it easier because they have more resources. They probably already have the infrastructure. 2K already had the infrastructure. They just plugged in some servers, did the work. A lot of work it takes, but they, nobody bought it.
My management AI was getting really good.
Online play is bigger, but I don't think that it's so much that it's, obviously YouTube and all the advances we've had in the internet and on your phones. Yeah. Online is a bigger deal nowadays because of the marketing aspect, social media aspect. So yeah, it's definitely bigger. Definitely bigger. And I'm not saying I'm opposed to online. I wish my game had online. I wish I had it today. I wish I had a million things. Go look at the ideas channel. I wish I had every single one of those. At least the ones I like, which I like a lot of them. Online's another idea that definitely would be good. But yeah, I know people don't buy it or may not want to buy it because it doesn't have online. Well, they can go play Madden. Not to be a dick, but they can go play Madden. Tell all your friends to go play Madden, Charlie. And not to sound like an asshole, but that's the truth. Maybe one day I'll get it and then they can come to my game, but I don't know what to tell people that like that. And I'm not, and see, that's the thing too. I'm not, which is why I'm making Legend Bowl. I'm making the best game I can make with the best style I can make it to have the highest, greatest chance to be successful. And it's pretty damn successful on Steam. It's doing fucking great on Steam, if you think about it. Go look at all the football games and look at mine. It's doing pretty great. And I'm proud of that. I think that's awesome. So maybe I have a chance. But I didn't build this game. I'm not building this game for the typical Madden guys. Suicide. And they can use Parsec. They can use Steam. Steam allows you to play online. So I don't know. But that's why I'm building franchise mode too, because people need more options. Maybe they'll play it if it has franchise mode. I don't think the AI is that bad. AI is pretty decent for, you know, for the little bit of time I probably put into it. I put a shit ton of time. Let me go back. Fuck that. I put a fucking shit ton of time into the game, the gameplay. Shit ton. And after early access, you guys all helped me make it even fucking better. And you guys push me to make it better. You guys push me. That's why I talk to you guys sometimes, because I'm like, fuck, sometimes I'm like, why the fuck did I work on that? Like, for instance, does anybody fucking know that the game can be played without helmets? Anybody? I hate I'm cursing a lot. I'm sorry. I know I don't like when I curse. What's this? I don't like when I curse, but I like to curse sometimes, especially when I'm pissed, but I don't like hearing myself curse. So I apologize if I'm offending anybody, right? Or I look less professional. Let's turn on Legend Bowl real quick. Now, I don't know what version of this we're going to get. So it may even break. It may even break. Let's pull up Legend Bowl real quick, guys. All right, let me lower the volume a little bit. Let's move it on over to Legend Bowl. All right. Does anybody know that you can play this game? Now, it might break, like I said, because I have my this is the Steam version, and I have my old. I mean, I don't know if it's going to cross between my current version that I'm working on in the my dev box here. But if we go to graphics and we go to look at all these fucking options. My game was never meant to have this many options. Now, it's good to have a lot of options, I guess. I have a fucking shit ton of options, man. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm an old school guy. I want the game. You just turn it on and here's your fucking game. Enjoy. Have a good time. Let's, helmets. You can put the vintage helmets on, which does look pretty fucking cool. You can even do like no helmets and keep the visors on. That's kind of cool too. And you can take them off. There's so many options. This is what I want. This is one of the core pillars of the game, was to give it customization, man. But do people know that you could just play the game? You can even put hats on. Hats off, hats on. I wonder if hats off. I swear I just saw a referee without a hat. Let me see. Oh shit, the referee don't have no hat. Don't have no hat, right? That's gangster talk. Now let's go into the full scrimmage here. It may break. It may break. I don't know where this is using the files from, but if it's using it from my box, it may break. Oh shit. Look at that. I do like the fact that you can use any football too. That's kind of cool. This game is fucking good. Now, let's take a look. The referees are wearing hats, so that might just be for that one screen. But you could play the game without a hat, without any helmet on. Now, hold on. I got the camera. Talking about zooming. Let's put it on low. All right, I just got knocked. You know, and it's funny because there was a point. There are these times when you're working on your game where you're like, the gameplay's okay. Like I was at a point where I'm like, this game's not fun. Like I wasn't having fun. Now it's this, like you start putting everything together, you get the guys running, you get the guys lining up, you get the controls to start work. And there was a point where I'm like, this game's not fun. And then I got into early access and I started to make it better and improve it. Maybe it was even before then. I don't know. But at some point it was like, shit, this game is pretty fucking good. Like, I'm my worst critic. I'm like the most like realistic. People call me pessimistic, but I'm a very realistic person. And I fucking love this game. I really do. But you guys can play this game without helmets. No, I never see anybody playing it without helmets. Do you know how much work it took to put the art style like this where they don't have helmets? Let's go. And all those voices are Fred, by the way. Shout out to Fred. And Fred gave me some cool stuff for the draft. So you guys are going to, I mean, I don't want to blow it up to be anything great, but when I first got it, I'm like, I'm not going to put it, it's too much work. I don't want to deal with it. But it's stuff like that that pushes me. I put 3D sound in this game so you can hear the players. Like if you have headphones on or anything, you could hear them at different parts. It's like 3-dimensional. They don't have helmets on, guys. Check it out. Like they're not wearing helmets. That's pretty cool. You know? And the other thing is, we need to, as I know a lot of you guys are in the community, Klep, I think you are the one. I got to figure out what final plays I'm going to have in the game. Like we were doing plays for the game. Right? Hold on a second. You guys are adding plays for the game, right? So, you guys are adding plays for the game. We need to get the final, like when I release the franchise mode update, we need to get like a final set of plays that are good. Like the game already has some pretty good plays, but like some of the plays that, let me throw this out way real quick. Some of the plays that are in here, that some of the formations like the shotgun and Hail Mary are very limited. That's how they typically are. But like I wish the shotgun plays had more plays. There's 15 of them though. Shit. There's 14 here. Hail Mary has 3. Hail Trips only has 3. But you know, like T-Form only has 10, 12, 9, 11, 9. You know, we can add more plays. The only problem with adding a lot of plays is that you start to like, it becomes way too many plays and it becomes like a sea of plays. But by the way, if you guys didn't notice, this entire play menu was pulled from Backbreaker. I liked what Backbreaker did and I used what they did. This is exactly what they did. It looks exactly like they have it. Go check out Backbreaker. So credit to them for the inspiration. So you can play the game without helmets. But you know, every time I pick this game up and I play it, because you guys got to understand, I don't play this game a lot. I work on it a lot. Like 95% of the time I'm working on the game. And the other, not even 5, I don't even know, you know, how much. I think that, look at this. I think that is that your stuff, Klep? we're gonna have some new messages coming in for the for these on-field messages in the very top there. The runner takes a huge shot from whatever, and he's on the ground in a fencing posture. Scary. I didn't write this. Oh, now he's up and headed to the huddle. See, this shit's gonna be good. This shit's gonna be good. Yeah, I think 15 to 20 plays would probably be a good thing. But we got to get a good mix. That's why I created that plays channel. You guys got to help me with that. I need help with that. All right, so let's back away from this game. I love this game. Let me see. Let me see if you guys only have season mode. You don't have the new mode. Woo-hoo. You don't have the new franchise mode yet. You son of a bitch. You guys don't have the new franchise mode yet. Let's get back to where we were. This is going on for a while. How many people are even in this stream? 27 people. Everybody should hit that like button right now. Go hit that like button. People need to watch this. People need to watch this. And then I got to get off soon. I can't be on here all day. I got to do some work. All right, so let's watch this.
A lot more about systems. I was just getting a little better at interface. You could see it's just a massive upgrade to Desktop Dynasties when it comes to things like interface.
Let me know if you guys can hear it okay, because I know his voice is a little lower.
So let me zoom out here. Let me go
Maybe
to
I'll
the end.
try to bring it up a little bit. Hold
this
on.
Video, you can see some more of the actual, like, this is a schedule screen. You can see things are just getting better and more interesting to look at. Because I was getting excited about it again. And things were going in a direction that more people were being interested.
So basically, he went on to make, he made Desktop Dynasties. Okay, we're on 25. Okay, he made Desktop Dynasties. It failed. It was a commercial failure for him, right? Then he came back and he's like, you know what? He basically learned that he allowed people, what's going on, Super Lion? He allowed people to change and alter his vision because they wanted Madden. They all wanted Madden. And then he realized that he should have never done that. He should have just stuck with what he was going to do. So he chose to make a Desktop Dynasties 2.
To Desktop Dynasties when it comes to things like interface.
And then I think that, and if you look at this game had a lot. Like, I'm not even, Sean and I was the one to reach out to Sean. Sean kind of knew who I was already because he's part of the community. When I first saw, because I was always looking for other football devs, and I found him when he was making Desktop Dynasties. And his game has so much in it. Now, one may argue that, like, if you look at a game like Retro Bowl, that game had a very specific vision, a very specific niche, a very specific game design to it. And it's a fun game that people like to play. People get addicted to it. There's so much on there that they're doing. I don't know how they're getting away with using Tecmo Bowl graphics, though, because they're literally Tecmo Bowl, but that's another story. But if you look at his games are like prototypes. His games are like a lot of different prototypes put together, but he's got some pretty heavy-duty stuff on here. The assists discussion, what is that? Assists? I don't know what you mean by that. But this game had a lot under the hood. And I think at some point he changed. He worked on the UI. The UI screens were getting nicer.
The real world, again, as I do. And the feedback I got was, your animation sucks. You picking up on a theme here? Your animation sucks.
And I feel bad for Sean because he had to go get he had a job in between all these games. He was working on them part-time a lot. Most of the time he was working on them part-time. But, he had to go out and get another job because nobody supported his game. And the only reason why I'm making my game, and you guys are lucky enough who even like my game to have it, is because I'm in a situation right now where I'm getting by with my wife working and me having a little bit of money, but I'm bleeding money. This is a financial sacrifice that we're all making as a family. It's not easy. It sucks. No, and Tech Mobile is not. Tech Mobile is owned by a company. There's a company that owns the rights to Tech Mobile, to Tecmo. Tecmo Bowl for sure. I think it's not Konami. There's a name. There's a company that has the rights, and they're actually making a Tecmo Bowl game. I've looked this up. I don't know how they're not suing them. I mean, not trying to get anybody sued, but it's odd to me because it's literally the same game as far as the graphics goes. But what he was saying in this video, and this is why I wanted to share this with you guys, was because he got to the conclusion that everybody wants Madden. So when he went back to make Desktop Dynasties 2 and stick to his vision, I think he realized that people are still complaining about it. People still don't want it. They want Madden.
It's not as good as Madden. Okay, yeah. There's no animation in it. I get that. Well, it still sucks. I won't buy this unless it has animation. Great.
No, they had to let go of the old NFL license for that. Like when you make a game, you're buying a license for that year, but your game could still be your game. They made a game in 2008 or some year around there for Xbox 360 that wasn't a hit. They didn't have real teams. No, but their engine and their name and their brand is still protected. Their IP is still protected. Somebody owns the IP. And like I said, I forget the name. You guys can look it up if you want, but there's a company that bought the game IP. Or the entire Tecmo company. I don't know. I don't remember. I think just the IP for Tecmo. I forget. But there's another company who owns it. And like I said, they're making a game. I know they're making a game.
Gamepad control. That's cool. But I need to be able to do like moves and spins and things.
All right. So in his game, you guys tell me, does his game idea have legs? He's trying to make an out of the park baseball, but with football. That's the way I see it. A football management game is what he's trying to make. Does it have legs? I know there's other ones out there. There's like the Wolverine Studios one, or some guys making other one. There's Pro Football Simulator. I saw you guys have. Cyber League has fucking legs. Cyber League will make Cyber League might be the one that gets him to be like a big shot. I may have to go work for him. But I still think Cyber League's going to kick ass. So you really do think that a football management game has legs? Okay, if you think it has legs, tell us why. Tell us what we're missing. What was he missing? What was Sean missing in his game? If you know anything about it, I'll play it while you think.
Like that, all you can do is run. Like I don't get it. What's the point?
Here's what I think. Before
it's supposed to be a coach game.
Before I let me say what I think, and I always tell him, I think that a game, if I were to make a football sim management type game, I would make sure, and it's not that he didn't think of this. He's just one guy. He didn't have the time for this shit. I think it needs to have, at some point, a story line. Like I envision it being like this. You turn the game on, you pick your team, maybe you create your coach, something to give you some customization options so that you can feel like you're part of the game, like you create a coach. Okay? I don't care about the 8-man. I mean, I get it, but 8-man didn't bother me. He could have done 11, whatever. I think he should have just done 11. But I would picture it like this. You turn the game on and you're presented with create your coach. Maybe you pick some attributes, some strengths, whatever. From there, you basically either interview for jobs or you get hired for a job, or something happens where an owner is talking to you and you have like a theme where you're constantly being guided, ridiculed, whatever, by an owner. Maybe you have a fan base. Maybe you have you have these different like pop-ups that would come up that would have a picture of your owner, or it could be your marketing person, your PR person, like that tells you like just events constantly come up that make you have to make decisions on your team, on, even could be like owner mode too, where you're like, okay, how am I going to get more revenue? How am I going to increase sales? How am I going to decrease expenses? What types of things am I going to add to the stadium? Player contracts, all that stuff. But like, put it into this world, metaverse, whatever people call it, of it's like a coach simulator. You are the coach, and the gameplay that he has would be a bonus. Okay, you want to watch the game. Maybe you get points for watching the game. Maybe you get extra like skill points, XP for like picking the plays, doing coach mode, which I know a lot of you guys want a coach mode. A lot of you guys play my game in coach mode or in sim watch game mode, CPU versus CPU. That's why maybe you're saying it has legs, Charlie. I know you do that a lot. If it had all of that, and obviously all the screens were cleaned up, he puts a lot of data, which those games have a lot of data too. So I don't know. I'm not a tech sim guy. I don't play tech sim games, never really have. It's not my thing, but I know that they're popular. It's just too heavy for me. Like statistically speaking, I don't want that much. So basically, that's what he was trying to build. I mean, I don't know if he was trying to build my idea, but he had his own idea of it, and people all turned it into so when you say going to Davion, you said Tech Mobile and Retroblood, that is not how copyright law works. What do you mean? Are you saying you can't sue someone for using your exact same sprites? Because that is copyright to me. Like if somebody were to make my game and literally copied my sprites pixel to pixel, that's, to me, copyright infringement. That's just me. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, but that doesn't sound like it's legal. But that's as far as I'm going to go there. Now you guys got to remember that whether you're a football developer or you are another genre, any genre, you pick it, developer, you can make a great game. If nobody knows about it, you're not gonna succeed. I don't know, man. I think that if you copy pixel art, I think that's an infringement. I think it is. They may not have copied the actual code, but I think if you take, even if they built the sprite themselves, it's a trademark, in my opinion. It's their trademark. It's their, I don't know, but I could be wrong. I'm not going to talk. Anyways, I don't care about that game anyways. It's not even on my radar, but the thing is, if you're making a good game, if you make a great game, you still have to market it. People still have to know about it. Do you know how many people don't know about my game? Everybody. The entire world doesn't know about my game. So I can make a great game and nobody will know about it. So we have a couple of things that we're fighting against. We're fighting against making a great game, a good game, and also you have to add on to it, getting it in front of people's faces so that they can actually see the game, get the exposure that it needs to get, and then maybe people will pick it up. My game was on Texas Ranger Walker, whatever. The Walker Show, right? Sales didn't take up. I mean, I'm not sure how huge that show is. I don't watch it. My game was on Angry Joe's channel. He's got millions of subscribers. My game was on QJB's channel. My game was on Not the Experts channel. My game's going to be on Soft Drink TV's channel. Maybe because it's not on consoles. I don't know. Maybe people just don't like the game. I don't know. Maybe because there's no sim, franchise mode, online, whatever, in-game save. Maybe they're not buying. I don't know. Bottom line is that it's hard. It's hard to get your game noticed. But what he goes on to in this video is, let me see. Did you guys ever write anything about how his game could be successful? Yeah, Cyber League is where he should put all his energy. I 100% agree, Charlie. He's not going to do Cyberball. Like, he can't say the same name. He's not going to use the same art, but he will be making a game based off of that game. Mark, the best of what's still around, says there's a market for an independent, unlicensed college football. Yeah, until EA makes theirs. And do you know how hard it is to make a college football game? AAA? Years. Ask the Gridiron Champion guys about their game. It's not that easy. Ain't happening. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying the truth. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's spending the money on that. Nobody's risking that. Yeah, if it's a small market for DD2, then it's not worth it. I don't know when it's coming out. NCAA is coming out, but I have no idea when. I don't really care about NCAA, to be honest with you, but that's just me. All right, let's just keep looking at this and then we'll get going soon.
Yeah. Now, as I'm saying it out loud, it's supposed to be a coach game. I don't know why I'm letting you play on the field at all.
So he's pissed because he let people get into his head. He had a vision for the game. He was doing coach simulator mode type game, and people wanted to control the players in the field, and he added it in. Why?
I should take that out.
You should take it out. You should have taken it out.
Is this going to be online multiplayer? I was like, no, because I don't know how to do that. Well, that's dumb. Madden's online. You should make it online. So I started running into the same wall that I was running into with Desktop Dynasties. And but that was okay because I was prepared for it this time, right? I was a little frustrated, but what I learned was, all right, I want to be able to make games for a living. I gotta listen a little bit. I can't just do what I want to do because I learned my lesson from Desktop Dynasties, right? If I do too much of what I want to do, nobody's gonna play the game and everybody's gonna hate it. And ultimately, I want to make a game people love, and I want people to love this game because it's gonna be a fun game.
I don't think that Draft Day Sports, that's the one I mentioned. I think Wolverine Studios makes that. I don't know. But I don't know how well they're doing. Those games, and I think that's what Sean was trying to do, to be honest with you. He wasn't trying to hit a home run. He was just trying to make games for a living, full time. Maybe make like 60 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand minimum. I think there's enough of a market for what he's trying to make in this game to justify that. But you have to have the right game. You have to get it in front of the right people, all that good stuff. He was, and I would tell him too, why don't you get animations? I was telling him I wanted Madden things because I don't know enough about this genre because I don't play it. I play games where you control the players. I play games where you're more, like 2K5 is my game. All Pro Football is my game. I would play Backbreaker and, ignore all the things that I don't like about it. NFL Fever was an old game. Tecmo Bowl was awesome for its time. I don't play that game anymore. I haven't in a long, 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 long time. The game I made, Legend Bowl, is like what I would play that's not a AAA game, not a 3D game. But I think that there's enough people out there that would buy it.
So let's talk about animation. All right, everybody hates
here's
animation.
where it gets good,
or hates my
or at least
animation.
here's where he kind of evolved to, which you guys have seen this before.
Is my animation sucks. I should get off my high horse, and I should address animation, right? I mean, who am I to tell everybody they're wrong? If people like it, if people want animation, that's not rocket science. I can figure out how to do animation. Let's do animation. And then maybe if people can get into the animation and get over that hump, maybe they'll be open to some more creative decisions that I'm going to make, right? If animation's the roadblock, let's get them past that so that they can enjoy the cool things I want to do. That was my thought process. And that's where we ended up on the 3K project. So the 3K project, all along the way, I've been doing research on All Pro Football 2K8, which I think is probably the best football game ever made. And I spent hours and hours and hours deconstructing how they're doing the animation. And I think I had figured out how 2K did their football games. And it's not that complicated. It's like I call it, it's a beautiful magic trick. And I figured, hey, I think I can do that. So the 3K project was my attempt to start building a 2K-like football game based entirely around the animation system.
I didn't mean to do that. Being able to survive, Phenomenal View says, being able to survive full time is kind of a home run scenario. Is that even my YouTube thing, Mr. King Havo? I don't even know. Yeah, that's true. It depends on how much you need to survive. If you look at how much money I'm making on Legend Bowl right now, I could make more with any other job in the world. That's sad. I'm hoping that the consoles will change that. But as of right now, a McDonald's employee makes more. And I'm not even bullshitting you. And that's not even taking into account the amount of hours I work. If you take into account the amount of hours I work, I think my dog makes more money than me. Yeah, I'm the Bills. Let's go.
That was the goal. Because if I could build a game around an animation system. So
he's trying to answer the question of your animation sucks. Well, fuck you. I'm going to work on animation. I'm going to make a prototype that has better animation than you've ever seen in any other indie football game. And to be honest with you, he kind of does.
that the people who play it aren't distracted by how bad the animation is, then they can appreciate the fun things about the game, right? The management part, which is the part I really love. So that's what the 3K football project is. And, if anybody's watched my Cover Up Madden series, it's basically me showing off the development of the animation engine. And frankly, it's pretty dang good. Not to toot my own horn too much, but look, are you guys gonna run or what? Come on, start running. Anyway, these guys are gonna run. There they go. Like, these guys are actually running in a meaningful. Like, they look very human-like when they're running. They change direction. There's a sense of weight. There's a sense of momentum. So this animation system is looking sweet. I invested in a motion capture system so I can capture my own animations and fill things in as I want, right? Like, I have the whole setup to build the entire 2K style engine. So, like, what's the problem, right? Well, here's the problem. And this has nothing to do with my fans or my game, right? I think this game is actually bumping along pretty well. Things are turning out well. It's taking longer than I had hoped, but it's going okay. The problem is this. Madden 21 is problem one. Madden 21 comes out while I'm thick in the development of this. And like, let's not let this be lost, right? Almost all of these players have real life jerseys from real life college and pro teams, right? I won't buy your game if it's not NFL customization. The real life animations, right? I won't buy your game if it's got crappy animations. 11 on 11 football, right? Remember when people said 8 on 8? That's dumb. I don't even get it. So basically, I have come full circle, and I am doing exactly what everybody has been banging on me to do, and I am doing nothing of what I set out to originally do. Like, let's not lose that fact here. I have basically become ghetto Electronic Arts now, which is super depressing. But anyway, what does that mean? Why am I bringing that up? Because problem one, Madden 21. Madden 21 comes out, and it's a complete dumpster fire, right?
Yeah, for just to be clear, I'm not. This is daily for me. Every single day, I go through a range of emotions, and I didn't do this video because I woke up like, oh my God, I'm so pissed today. The one day out of every day, I feel this way. Worse. I could feel worse. And I don't know how I'm coming across in this video, but it's the truth, man. Like, this is the truth. You come to my channel, you get the truth. You don't get bullshit. You don't get me marketing you bullshit. You don't get me appeasing to all the mass. And that might be why my game doesn't do well. I don't know. I don't care. I don't think it matters. Nobody watches us. This is not a huge channel. I want my game to stand on its own 2 feet. I'm going to say what I have to say. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. You come to me for the real, honest truth. If you want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, then go somewhere else. It's not a big deal. If you want to buy a different game, go buy it. No big deal. $20 isn't going to do anything. Actually, I make $10, and after that $10, I probably make like $7. Not a big deal. I hope my game can do very well because I've worked really hard on it, and I've put a lot of time and sacrifice into it. I sold my house. I left my job. I've done a lot. I've done a lot to do this game. And you have to be psychotic to do what I'm doing. And most people that are super passionate about something are borderline crazy. They're lunatics. And that's what I'm basically doing is lunacy. I'm doing like lunatic stuff here. I'm going against the most odds you can go against. And I'm trying to make a living off of a football game, a pixel art football game. So as far as the ranting goes, I just wanted to do this because I just felt like I wanted to do it. And I probably have been on here for way too long. It's going to be 3 hours. But yeah, fan comes from fanatic. Yeah. So whatever. It is what it is, man. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't think my game's the best game in the world, but I also don't think it's crap either. And I think that there's a chance we can make it on consoles. I hope we can do it. And if not, then I don't know what's going to happen to me or Legend Bowl, but something's going to happen. And the point of this video was really just to talk about football games and the fans and what the expectations are. And I really think that Sean nailed it in this video when there's definitely a crowd of people that just want Madden. Like they complain about it every year, but then he's going to talk about it now. But then Madden becomes the best-selling year of Madden, best-selling football game ever made. And this is why, going back to the beginning, you don't listen to fucking fans because fans are a bunch of bullshit. Like the guys who fucking complain about Madden fucking buy the game every goddamn year. The guys who say no sim, no buy Madden. Yearly. For decades. So why listen to anybody? Not when you're making a football game. Make what you think is gonna work. If you have the balls and you have or if you're that stupid and take on that much risk to make a football game, make whatever the fuck you want to make. Make whatever the fuck you want to make. Make it. Don't worry about anybody else. If you want to include people because they might help you, which I've done, and I appreciate a lot of the help. I've also lost time because of some of the help, or I've spent time on things that may or may not matter. Whatever. It is what it is. I don't know what I would do differently now. I don't know. I learn every day. But my game's got a shot. I'm not giving up on my game. This isn't about giving up. This is about the reality of the situation. Anybody who tells you anything about your football game, if you're making a football game, if anybody tells you anything about your football game, take a wipe and wipe your ass with it. Why? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about with the assist. Yeah, let me know. But if it means a lot more work for me and it's not worth it, don't let me know, to be honest with you. I have so much work on my plate right now. The bottom line is if you're making a football game, do what you think is right. I love 2K5. I love APF. I know a good football game. I know a good football game more than all the fucking people who buy Madden every year because they don't know shit about football. And if you guys are buying Madden every year, then you guys are buying it because you're fucking weak and you're buying it because you are desperate. And I get it. Go buy it. I'm not buying that. I wouldn't take it for free. I'll piss on that game. I'm sorry. I would not buy the game if it was for free, Space Ghost. Not me. I can't play that game. But I'm not saying that if you guys buy it, like I say you're weak because you're buying it because you know it's shit. Let's be honest. It's shit. Now it's 10,000 times better than anything I can make, But in the grand scheme of what we've had and them being a AAA company, it's pure shit. I can't play it. Point is that I know a good football game. You guys know good football games, right? Sim football games. You guys know. I don't need anyone, or any football dev out there doesn't need anybody to tell them what a good football game is. Now, getting help on certain things, asking questions about things, getting feedback is great when you need it. Like the guy said, concise, specific feedback. Anybody who tells you that your game isn't sim, or your game's animation sucks, or your game isn't Madden, don't listen to them. But I also go even further to say, don't make anything like Madden. And I tell Sean this a lot. Don't make anything like Madden. Yeah, I hear you, man. I know. I get pissed though, because I hate Madden with a passion. Game's trash. The thing is, man, like, don't make anything that's close to Madden, or else they're gonna want Madden. Your fans are gonna want Madden. You're not gonna get any sales, because why buy your game when I can buy Madden? Do you guys think my game is different enough where people will buy it versus Madden? Do you guys think that that's the case? If you do, let me know. Put it in the comments. I think so. I know when I put my game on, like I just put it on a minute ago, I fucking like it. I like it better than anything else I play. As far as what's new, as far as what options I have, I like it better than any of the games I've seen. It's different. It's so different. There's nothing else out there like my game. I hope that it does, Space Ghost, man. I hope, because I want to make I tell my wife all the time, I wish I had more people to work on my game. I wish I could even, and this is what I want. I want super mega football. That's another thing we can talk about right now. Do you guys think that super mega football can make it? Let's watch this. What do you think
Universally,
about
people
it?
hate it. Lowest rated football game.
Oh, we got to hear this again.
Madden 21 comes out, and it's a complete dumpster fire, right? Universally, people hate it. Lowest rated football game of all time, kind of thing, right? You look at every Twitter trending, everybody hates it. It's an enormous, it's so bad. It's showing up on the news. Major media outlets are talking about how much everybody hates Madden 21. Madden 21 also quickly becomes the greatest selling football game of all time.
I don't know about that. View says sim football guys aren't going to buy it. Doesn't matter. It's not the largest audience available. I don't know, man. NBA 2K, MLB The Show, those are sim games. Those are sim games. Now, you could probably lower the settings and make it a little bit easier, but those games are built on replicating the sport to a T, to a fucking T. The golf club, which I play, and I was part of the beta team, by the way. The golf club, when it was first out way back in the day, it was years and years ago now. That game is hard, and that game is very simulation based. Look where they got. They got all the way up to being 2K. They're bought out by 2K. Simulation crowd is huge, my friend. Don't let that stop you. Or don't let that fool you. The simulation crowd is a big chunk.
What? Are you kidding me? So the worst major football game ever launched.
Yeah, I think Super Mega Baseball, done the right way. Basically, a game is polished and as simulation, arcade, simcade, whatever. Basically, Super Mega Baseball, that team has done phenomenal work. They took 7 years to make the first version of Super Mega. 7 years to make the first iteration of Super Mega Baseball. Super Mega Baseball. That game is polished as shit. Polished. The stadiums are beautiful. The crowds, everything is so high end. The gameplay is great. The pitching, the batting mechanics, great. And the game's gotten better and better over the years. You take that same philosophy, now apply it to football, which the problem with football though is that when you start to add collisions and all the chaos that goes into a football game, get ready for fireworks. And you may end up on the wrong side of that. The Super Mega Baseball game is a baseball game. They don't have to worry about that. They can get away with that. And that's where I'm not sure. Because in theory, it sounds right. But to get it to look right on the field is a whole nother challenge. Just is.
Also, within a few months, becomes the greatest selling football.
And by the way, when I'm talking on here, I don't know if it's the camera or if I change. If I sound very cocky, arrogant, like people tell me that sometimes, and I hate that. I don't want to be that way. I apologize if I come off as being an asshole or cocky or whatever, arrogant. I really don't. I'm not a dick. I'm not an asshole. I'm not, I feel like I'm a pretty cool guy. I'm a good guy. Maybe it's my insecurities come out and make me act like I'm tougher than I am or cooler than I am. I don't know. But that's just where we're talking here. And I don't know how I come across sometimes, but I really don't. I'm trying to be myself as best I can, but maybe I come across a little bit more because I'm on camera. I don't know. You guys tell me if you think I'm acting crazy sometimes, right? I'm not that person. Let's put it that way. If I do, it's because of other things, but just wanted to say that. Not that I'm like sitting here super worried about it, but I know when I watch them back, I'm like, that's not really me. That's not like the ultimate me, but I can come off that way. And I hate that. Maybe I am. Maybe that is me. Who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Football game of all time. Well, what does that tell you? I don't know what it tells you, but what it tells me is people don't care about anything other than buying Madden. So,
okay, let's do something here. That was pretty good. Oh, I can't clip this.
But what it tells me is people don't care about anything other than buying Madden. So, if you're an aspiring football game dev and you're looking at all the problems Madden has and you're reading all the tweets, it says every tweet that says I would buy a game that had a meaningful team building mode, right? I would buy a game if it had a coach mode. I would buy a game if it had a
Super Mega Baseball is not small, Davion. Not small at all. That fan base is huge, man. Player base is small. No, it's not, man. That they have a lot of fans. They do very, very well. They have a studio. They have over 20. Excuse me. They had over 20. Last I checked, which was before EA bought them. By the way, EA bought them. EA doesn't buy small fan bases. They have a pretty huge fan base, my friend. A lot of people buy that game. And they got bought by EA. They have a studio. They had over 20 people at the time, way before. This was like 2-3 years ago. Over 20 people. If those people are making anywhere from 60 to 100,000 minimum, that's like shit minimum. 60,000 for those types of jobs. You're talking about $1.3 million salaries. Total salary, not including your salaries as the owners. Those guys are making a lot of money.
A better franchise mode.
Online may be hard to find. I don't know what's going on with that. Are you playing on PC? I don't know if they're cross-platform, but they make a shit ton of money and they have a lot of people.
Like, I'm sorry, but those games exist and none of you are buying them. You're all buying them.
Okay, let's hear this again.
Right. Meaningful team building mode, right? I would buy a game if it had a coach mode. I would buy a game if it had a better franchise mode. Like, I'm sorry, but those games exist and none of you are buying them. You're all buying Madden. So that drove home the fact to me. Nobody cares about anything they say other than when people say, I want competition to Madden, all they're saying is, I want a better Madden. They don't care about the competition and they're not going to buy the competition. They just want Madden to be a little bit better so that they can find something else to complain about Madden and then buy Madden again, right? Like it pissed me off to no end that everybody is constantly complaining about Madden, but every year Madden is the greatest selling game of all time.
That's a huge, like, if you guys were paying attention there, that little segment that he just had hit the nail on the head. It hits the nail on the head for the last decade, over a decade. All people want is Madden. And the people who want to try something new, like you guys, are the minority. You guys are the minority. Madden makes more money in 1 minute of MUT than my game has made so far. That's a fact. Guaranteed fact. Now, I'm not competing with Madden on purpose, but what do people want? Do people, like the video title says, what's the video title? Let's pull that up. What's the video title? There's 27 people here, 24 people here. Okay, my bit rate's choppy. It's telling me my bit rate's a little choppy. You guys tell me, is it okay? Do football fans want something different? It's getting cut off. My frames aren't dropping. Are you guys seeing issues? Because YouTube is complaining to me. I don't know. They're telling me I have my bit rate's too high right now. They want me to drop it to 4,500. Let's see if it picks up. All right. So anyways, it's about like Charlie said, thanks Charlie. Do football fans want something different? They fucking don't. Not when it comes to a AAA game like that. Not when it comes to a 3D game like that. So, yeah. So where does he end up?
Like, okay, fine, right? I give up that battle. You all love Madden, fine.
And he's pissed.
I can still make cool games, and maybe a few of you will buy them. Like, who knows, right? So I keep bumping along, right? I was frustrated. I quit I put down my keyboard for like a month or so just to kind of cool down. But then it was like, whatever, it's Madden. Madden's going to sell what Madden sells. I can't fight that.
How do you like Sunday Rivals, Sire?
So I start bumping along again.
I was watching this last night and I was laughing so hard. This is the best when he says I'm bumping along again.
So I start bumping along again.
Poor guy. This is a guy that I feel for because he has worked his ass off trying to make multiple. This is a true football game fan. And Dev, smart dude. And he is struggling to find a way to make it.
And we're still making progress.
Sire, tell us about Sunday Rivals. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Why? How do you think it compares to other games out there?
I'm still feeling pretty good about it. Doing these videos, right? Whatever this one is. This is the pass and the coverage.
Yeah, the stream was buffering. It's like, let me see. Maybe I can drop the bit rate down because I don't know why it's doing this. Hold on. I don't want to screw this up, but let's see if I can do that while I'm streaming. All right, I just lowered the bit rate. See if that helps. Tell me if that helps. I've probably been on here for too long.
Video. We're still cruising along, making progress, having some fun.
You like it to a point. Sire says he likes Sunday Rivals to a point. They added the ability for CPU versus CPU, which I like. I do customization and stats, but he is headed the right way. I love your game, King. Legend Bowl's lit. Thank you very much. I like where Sean was going to with the K. Yeah, the 3K project was just going to be too much.
Then the news. EA does it to me again, right? Then the news that EA might be bringing back. Well, first, the NFL makes a deal with 2K for something. We don't know what that is. That kind of shook me a little bit. But then the news comes that EA is thinking about bringing back NCAA football. And I was like, dude.
Yeah, with the amount of customization we have, there's no way in hell I can do the helmets, man. I've gone down that path and there's just too much. If I didn't have customizable logos, I could do it. Still would be a pain in the ass, but I could do it. Now with all the customizations we have, no way.
College football was the only thing I had left. Right? If there's no way anybody's going to buy my game over Madden when it comes to pro football. But if I can make a compelling college football game, now there's a chance, right? If I like transfer portal, recruiting, right, the draft, like blah, 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 all those things, if I can do that well, I got a chance because nobody else is doing it. Well, if EA is doing it, I'm back in the same problem I was before, right? If anything I put out there, people are going to be like, why would I buy your game when I could just buy EA's college?
Esco, reach out to 2K Football now. I think he is... his screen name is something different on there. And I can't remember what it is. It's been a while since I've been on there. Ask him to make it. He's a moderator on there. He can do it for you.
College football. So that news came out. I was hoping it wasn't true. Last week it became true. EA is bringing back college football.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the control mappings either for here's Sunday Rival. Here's what I think about Sunday Rivals. From the little bit I've played of it. I like the visuals. I don't like the blocky guys. I would prefer something more like Super Mega Baseball. Something better than that, than what they have. I don't like the way the players move. They slide around too much. It's very janky. I really don't like the ball physics at all. Like not even at all. They're really, really, really basic and clunky. Yeah, Azemple. He can't do it. Oh, okay, I'll do it. What do you want? Do you want a channel? Shoot me a DM on Discord, and I'll do it when I get a chance. I like the visuals. I like the snow, the rain, the weather he's doing. I don't like the UI. I don't like the mouse movement that he has with the UI. I wish it was more gamepad. I wish his gameplay was improved. I don't feel like he's done enough on the field with the gameplay. I think it's pretty bare bones. I think there's a lot more he can do. And I'm not trying to, I'm just giving my honest feedback. There are things I like about it. Like I used the same thing they used for the blocking, like the button mashing. I don't like the screen, the way it goes, the way it like cuts like this and says Sunday Arrivals each time. I could do without that. I want to say some good things about it though. I think the sounds are pretty good. I like the way it like ticks up as you're running and the yards tick up. I don't like whenever I play the game, the buttons, I don't know if you can remap them or not. I haven't really tried it. I never tried it when I played it, but the buttons are so foreign to me that I don't even know. Like I feel like I'm lost. And that's just because I haven't learned the buttons. But that's a problem for newcomers because they're going to feel lost when they first jump on the game. I personally would make the buttons more or similar to what other games have done, or else you're just going to confuse people and frustrate people, but that's me. I don't see a reason why you would want to change the buttons unless you have a new mechanic, and there really isn't a new mechanic on there. You press a button, like it's just, there's nothing new to make the buttons change. So I say no. I haven't really seen the variable animations for catching. I think I saw a video on it, but I don't think I've played it or witnessed it in first person or in person or whatever. I think he's really, really good at visuals. I think that he has done an excellent job when it comes to the visuals of that game. I don't think the gameplay is where it needs to be. I don't think the animations are obviously anywhere near what they could be. Now, that's the problem. And that's why Super Mega Football type of game would be hard, because I think his animations are very basic and they don't look the best. The models look very, very, in my opinion, they don't look great. I don't like them. That's me. He's done a great job for what he's done, but that's not my thing. I think that he needs to get a little bit more sophisticated. But then I realized that if you do make it more like Super Mega Baseball, like their models, now you have to worry about the right, even now your animation challenge becomes even greater. So that's the hard part. And that's why I'm on the fence when I talk about Super Mega Football. I don't know how that would work. That's a hard one. But that's how I feel about it.
So
obviously it needs more depth too. Like there's no real franchise mode, I don't think. Like the modes are kind of limited. Like I said, the UI needs a lot of work. The mouse control, I don't like that. The way you move your thing like a mouse, I don't like that.
Right. Follow the thread.
I will say this: if there is a good football game out there, I will play it. And I don't play any other football game other than All Pro Football, sometimes 2K5, sometimes Backbreaker, sometimes Legend Bowl because it's my game. But even then, I work on it more than I play it.
Thread all the way through my football game dev career. We already know how this is going to end. I'm going to launch this game. People are going to say, why can't I use real NCAA teams? I can just buy EA Sports and get real teams. Your animation's not as good as EA Sports, right? It's like, I don't know. So I'm at the point now where I'm just like, okay, I could keep, what? Are you kidding me? It's showing up on the news. Major media outlets are talking about how much everybody hates Madden 21. Madden 21 also quickly becomes the greatest selling football game of all.
We already heard all that.
True. EA's bringing back college football.
So yeah, college football came
frankly,
back.
that's one thing I've learned in the last 5 to, I don't know, when did I start working on this? 5, 6, 7 years in football game dev is if word of advice to an aspiring football game developer, there is no room in football games for creativity. You cannot do anything different than what's already been done. The second you do something,
The only thing I have to say about that comment, I agree with that 100%. And I think he was talking about it too, but I'm not sure. If you're making a 3D football game, he's 100% right. 100% right. If you're making a mobile game like Super Mega or Retro Bowl, they've proven that theory wrong. They've proven that theory wrong. It is different. Now it's Tecmo Bowl with a whole entire layer of player management, type stuff, which is cool. But they did it different, and they're doing very well. But that's not Madden-esque. That's not Madden. The game's $2. The game was for free on mobile. I can put my game out for free right now. What I thought about, what if I put it out for like $1? Like, who would buy my game? I think would a lot more people buy it? I don't know. I don't know how that would work. But anyways, the game's super cheap. The barrier to access, like the barriers to entry are low. The game's super cheap. But they've proven that theory wrong. So I apply what he says to a Madden competitor. Like Access Football, Maximum Football. There's no room, in my opinion, for games like that. Sunday Rivals has a shot, but they're still bleeding a lot. They're a lot closer to Madden than my game is. And that's another danger spot that they're running into, I think. Yeah, millions and millions and millions and millions have been lost. There's a lot of money that's been lost. A lot of companies have lost a lot of money. Not a lot of companies because they're not that stupid to get into it. A few companies have lost a lot of money. And a lot of people like myself have lost their livelihood. They've really sacrificed a lot for a genre that never really had a chance.
something different, you're going to get bombarded with, that's not sim.
I won't sell my game I might sell my game for $100 just because fuck it. I'm just saying, like, if I ever, I just throw out the idea sometimes of if my game was free, I would probably have 1 million people playing it too. Why not? It's free. Why wouldn't you play it? Or why wouldn't you at least download it? Like, why? Or if my game was $2, so it's hard to say because my game's more expensive. I don't know what the best price is for it, but I mean, shit, Super Mega Baseball charged like $44.99 for their last game. I couldn't believe it.
That's how they do it in real life. I will never buy your game unless it's exactly like Madden. That's the 3 pillars of making a football game right now. And I'm sorry, some people are going to be pissed off about that, but spend a combination of features that hasn't been done. It had a roadmap to be learned that somebody else did. I'm happy for them. That's what the market taught me.
I want to hear that again.
I'm sorry, that's the lesson. You'll come to the same. It's the not done. The second you do dev is it's 5, 6, 7 years in football game to, I don't know, when did I start working on this? 5, 6, 7 years. Because frankly, that's one thing I've learned in the last
Here we go.
5 to, I don't know,
The money shot.
Working on this 5, 6, 7 years in football game dev is if word of advice to an aspiring football game developer, there is no room in football games for creativity. You cannot do anything different than what's already been done. The second you do something different, you're going to get bombarded with, that's not sim. That's how they do it in real life. I will never buy your game unless it's exactly like Madden. That's the 3 pillars of making a football game right now. And I'm sorry, some people are going to be pissed off about that, but spend every day of your life for 3 years making a football game and getting feedback, and you'll come to the same conclusion I did. Like, I'm sorry, people are going to hate that, and they're going to be pissed, and they're going to yell at me. They're going to internet yell at me. I'm sorry, that's the lesson I learned in making football games.
Sean, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. It's tough. He spent 3 years. I've been working on this game full time for over 4 years. I know the feeling. I've been there full time. I've been doing this. He did it part time, in and out. Full time. It's tough. But I'm destined and determined to make it happen. Yeah, SMB 1 was $20, but we'll see. We'll see where I land. You know, I have a publisher now. They're going to take a cut. So we'll see what the price becomes when it goes out to consoles. Hopefully it gets there. My game's my game's a big game. It's not an easy game to port. I can tell you that. It's not a mobile game that we're porting. That's easy to do. You can push a button and do 90% of it. So,
you know, if there's another lesson out there to be learned that somebody else did, I'm happy for that. Never seen before. Was different than any game that I started off making a game that was different than any other game out there. It had features that nobody's ever seen before. A combination of features that hasn't been done. It had a roadmap to create something truly unique. And from day one, the market and the fans and the consumers beat it into my head that that is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
And frankly, I wish this is the lesson. This is the huge lesson that I got out of this. I wish I would have stuck with what I wanted to do with Desktop Dynasties and not listen to the customers, not listen to the game devs, not listen to the market. I would, frankly, out of all the games that we just looked at, this was my best game. This first one was my best game, and everybody hated it, and it was raw. But by the time between then and now, the animation could have been like.
And that's the one thing that I think I've done differently, for better or for worse, than somebody like Sean. I've stuck to Legend Bowl. I have thought time and time again of jumping to something else. I have thought about not continuing and making a franchise mode until I saw some return, some good return. I'm also of the opinion, though, that if you build it, they will come. Me starting over on another project is me starting over. And I think that the more you refine, if you believe in the game that you're working on and you believe in what you're doing, I think, like, had he continued to work on Desktop Dynasties and made it the game that he envisioned from day one, I think he would be having more success now than he did. He would definitely have had more success. And he's saying it now. He should have just continued. But the one cool thing about all of this experience for him is that he's going to make a different type of game, the Cyber League game, which I honestly think has a chance. And I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for you, Sean. I think your game has a chance, man. I really do. But that's the thing. And that's, Charlie, you're right. You guys know that a lot of successful, if I can speak, most games that that are super successful were not the first game, second game, third game, fourth game, fifth game, sixth game, 20th game. A lot of those games come from years and years and years of failed games. Rocket League, perfect example. Perfect example. Rocket League, bigger studio, more polished game, but they came from many, many years and many, many struggles of other games. They actually released Rocket League on PlayStation back in the day. Game was trashed. I think Candy Crush, which I don't even consider to be a good game, but it's a mobile killer. That game had many, many games before that did shit. There are many games out there that many companies that failed miserably, failed multiple times. I'm kind of lucky in that sense that my game is actually successful as the first game. My first commercial game. I've made other games for fun on the side, prototypes, but my first commercial game. But but my plan, because I'm very, very determined and stubborn this way, is to grind my way to making it. That's what I'm doing. I'm grinding my way every single day. Today I'm not doing a lot of work, which I need to get back to work. I'm going to probably take a break and go do a workout. I got to do something, but I got to start getting my health in order. But even Supergiant, they were working for EA at the time. They were working on, I think they were working on, was it Call of Duty? There was one, I forget what game they were working on. They were working for EA, and they spun off, but they worked on a passion project that they made it. There's stories like that. Happy Friday, man. You're welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I enjoyed being here with you guys. The stream is 3 hours and 34 minutes. I was happy to do this, and I do appreciate. Yeah, look up their story. There's like a documentary I've seen on them, like a video documentary for Hades. I think it's for Hades, the one that was with there's I forget what the name of the YouTube channel is, but there's a big game documentary. No Clip. Look up No Clip. They had it for Hades. And it went through all of their games, Supergiant's games. And they used to work for EA. I thought it was Call of Duty. It could Battlefield maybe. There's a game that they worked on and they got pulled. It might have even been like I forget the game, but they worked at EA, I'm pretty sure. And they wanted to do their own thing, and the one head guy bounced out. And he recruited his guys over, and they made a game. Two guys started it, basically. And yeah, Pyre or whatever you call it, that game didn't have the success that those two games had. But you know what? That game was a really polished game, and it was probably one of their better games, to be honest. But they just didn't hit the mark. So but they're very well known for making highly, highly polished games. That's what I always liked about the Blizzard team back in the day when they would make their Warcraft and StarCraft games. They really, really did an excellent job of polishing the games. Now they were a huge studio who had a shit ton of resources and money, but I am of the opinion that if you make a polished game, I appreciate that, Warrior Bear. I think my game has a chance, and I like it too. I like it too, and it's gonna get better from here. But polish is a big thing. I tell Sean that a lot. Polish is what I think sells games. I think if you have the polish, you will sell some copies. If your game is raw and unpolished, I don't think it stands a chance. I just don't. Unless you have a super cool concept, polish is a big deal. And Supergiant is very, very much the kind of company that polishes the living piss out of everything that they do. Their graphics, their animations, their art, their sound, their music, their marketing, their just their design, game design. They have scratched entire like portions of a game or entire games just because they knew that it wasn't what they want. It wasn't enough. It wasn't quality enough. And they had the runway to do it after their success with Bastion. But even more so, like they are all about making polished games. And yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to do with AI. There's a lot left to do with AI. And if I can get people, if my game can be successful enough where, thanks, man. If my game can be successful enough where I can hire people and have a studio, oh man, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. And I think that everything will just get improved. And that's the cool thing too, is that this is the shitty part about Madden and EA. Everybody spends money every year, every day on Madden, and they don't have your best interests in mind. They're not going to make the best game for you. They're going to make the best game that sells the most copies, which is why they're in business. And they're not at home like me, broke. They are a money-making company first. And that's what I have to be too, if you think about it. But as a fan, and I think forever, no matter how big my game ever got, I honestly think that I would always put the gameplay first. I had an interview with EA back in the day when I worked for them. And the one question they asked me in the interview that I remember to this day, the most critical question was, what do you think? They asked me, what do you think the most important aspect of a game is? And they went through like a number of choices. And I said, or I just said, it was an open-ended question. I don't remember. And I was like, gameplay. And this was back in 2004. Gameplay. I don't care what your art style looks like. I don't care what your graphics look like. I don't care what your sound is. I don't care what your story is, like what your, dialogues, nothing. Gameplay. If the game is fun and the game is addicting and the core of the game is great, that's what you need. The rest you can build on top of it. And that's what I really tried to do, and I'm trying to do with Legend Bowl. I spent the majority of my time on the core of the game. So let's see what happens. But the core the core of Madden is not that. Hasn't been that for a long time. And people dump money into it every year and they don't care, because why would they? They don't need to. Lowest rated football game, highest sales ever for a football game. Suspicious. Anyways, have a great weekend, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to do some working out, I have to do something, and then I'm going to work on my game. Stay tuned for more updates from Legend Bowl. We will have a franchise mode. It is in the works. It is moving. It is getting closer and closer to being finished. But I know I have to add a few more things, and I know I'm going to want to make it complete, and we're going to have to do some testing as well, obviously, to make sure that everything works. The beta team, you guys are going to be involved. So get ready. The earliest I think you guys would be involved would be a week or two from now. So that's kind of a rough estimate. And when I say a week or two, that's probably pretty aggressive. Might want to say 2 to 4 weeks. But that's pretty much it. So thank you all for coming through. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. And I'll catch you guys in the next stream. next video, and we'll do this again sometime. It was fun. All right, peace. Gotta go. Peace.